Welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeastern Conference.
Listen to that. Baton Rouge, Louisiana for an SEC opener. I mean, this is what a Saturday in the Deep South is supposed to look like. Ooh, and that looks so good. Football and food and a whole lot of expectations. We got purple and gold everywhere. Tiger bait, heard loud and clear. These fans felt a heartbreaking, drama-filled gut punch to start the year, but that all goes away when a conference rival arrives. Tiger Stadium, and we welcome you to ESPN College Football presented by Subway. It is Mississippi State and LSU ready to get after it. Each team's SEC opener, as we say. Good afternoon, Joe Tessitore and Greg McElroy with you. And the last time we saw LSU, it was that drama, the late thrower, the blocked extra point down there in New Orleans, and now they catch this Mississippi State team, and it's a good team. And you would think the pressure's on Brian Kelly, his SEC opener debut as a coach, and he doesn't want to go 1-2. But you say it's the other way around with the pressure in this game.
Yeah, I mean, LSU, they turned over a new leaf this offseason. They are now 3 games into a new era. Meanwhile, Mississippi State, 3 years into the Mike Leach era, and they finally have a team that feels like they're ready to break through. Veteran on the defensive side of the football. 21 of their 22 players that are in there too deep on the defensive side are juniors, seniors, or fifth-year players. A newfound commitment to the run game, and Tess, the quarterback, who is outstanding.
But Will Rogers, one of the best going.
He's phenomenal, and he's so accurate. When you think about air raid philosophy, it's all about getting the ball out of your hand quickly, being accurate on the underneath. But what I love most when I watch this young man, he's not afraid to push the ball down the field. There might be tight coverage on the intermediates. There might be tight coverage downfield. He's going to cut it loose, and he does so with great anticipation. He's been off the charts good throughout the course of the first 2 games, and you can anticipate that continuing throughout the course of this season.
He leads the SEC in all these passing categories, but Katie, there's that feeling around the Bulldogs that he doesn't get the national attention he deserves.
No doubt, Tess, and I found it interesting. Will Rogers has never stepped foot in Baton Rouge. He was unable to make the trip in 2020 when Mississippi State beat LSU, but he says he's heard the stories. He has an idea of what to expect down here, but there are no nerves, right? Because this is year 3 of Mike Leach's offense. He's almost automatic in what he does as he leads the country in passing yards per game, but it goes beyond the stats, guys. Will Rogers elevates the play of everyone around him. Mike Leach said, I don't know of anyone who does the most with what they have other than Will Rogers. That's a testament to his talent and his leadership, Tess.
Of course, he is opposite this group. The Tigers away. They're at an interesting stage in this program. They have pockets of still top-tier, ultra-elite talent, but they also have a roster that's in transition with transfers and, of course, the natural attrition when you get a new staff. Brian Kelly going about business with a new standard here. And we've got BK mic'd up. You will hear from the head coach with all access when we return to Tiger Stadium.
Ooh, little fall photo sesh, I see. Hey, I know. Everybody said
One unlimited for iPhone, only on the network America relies on. Verizon.
From here in Baton Rouge, you're watching the SEC on ESPN. Brian Kelly had his LSU debut down in the Superdome. Last week, his Tiger Stadium debut. Today, his first SEC game. Here he is.
Brian Kelly, do a hell of a job.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice job.
We'll
Really
see.
do.
I don't know. We'll see.
No, you really do.
Thank you very much.
I like your system.
It's a cross breeze, but it's carrying better in this direction.
So we want to
The ball, yeah, we want to kick that way.
away from the tunnel. Not as big a crowd as you're used to in the high school. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Ready to go? Let's go get it, baby. Let's go. Let's go, big guy. Let's go make some plays. Mike.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, great to see you.
We always pass by. Count them in, 2, 1, 2. Let's go. Let's go have some fun.
Let's do it.
Let's go get them.
A week ago, that man experienced his first home game at Tiger Stadium. He said it exceeded his expectations. He also mentioned that there were no candelabras at the tailgates because they do it a little different down here in the South. This fan base has an edge, and he knows his team needs that same edge as they open SEC play tonight, Tess.
That's right, Katie. Greg, I love seeing BK and Mike Leach meeting each other. All the years they've been coaching, and this is the first time they've met up. He says, nice to meet you. How you doing?
And couldn't be more different. Like, Mike Leach, very reserved, kind of talked to him earlier today, talked about fishing. That was 45 minutes before kick. And Brian Kelly's talking about all the different angles that he's trying to get his team prepared. Just two very different personalities. Guys do it their own way, but both have found remarkable success throughout the course of very storied careers.
I talked fishing with you. We spent a half an hour discussing rugby with Katie before the game. LSU won the toss. They elect to receive. So it'll be Ben Raybon kicking off to Jayden Daniels, who has been clocked at 21.5 miles per hour on the GPS. But will he get the chance? No chance halfway into the end zone, so that will bring out the quarterback, Jayden Daniels, of course, the transfer from Arizona State. We had a nice conversation with the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, yesterday. He said, listen, he has settled in. There were those around here who had suspicions. Could he make the plays? He's fine. He's been spot on.
And they've really done a nice assessment of where he's at and where he's most comfortable. They actually have found, dating back to his time at Arizona State, when they play with urgency and they play with tempo, he's a much more effective player. So you can anticipate a heavy dose of that from the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, tonight to make sure he's eliminating the thought process before the snap and just playing instinctively.
Curious how early they get Keishawn Booty involved in the action. They're going to start on the ground with Armani Goodwin, tackled by Jet Johnson. Jet Johnson, who grew up a Mississippi State fan, used to sit up in the stands and cry every time they lost, he said.
Johnson really does a great job in the middle of that defense. It's an aggressive group. They're going to throw you a million different looks. Their challenge of playing against this style of defense.
Not run on the first play. Please reset the game clock to 14:54.
The style of this defense, the challenge in playing against it is the complexity, all the different looks, all the different pressures. Zach Arnett, you actually heard Brian Kelly before the game on the Mic'd Up feature, complimenting Zach Arnett, his scheme, and just how difficult he makes it on opposing offenses.
Multiplicity of that 3-3-5 defense he's been running. Getting pressure up the A-gap, gets picked up. Daniels goes over the middle and is able to get it complete to Keishawn Booty, the preseason All-America, he was like a different guy last week when they targeted him 5 of the first 9 plays.
Yeah, and obviously making him a priority in this plan as well. A nice throw there to the sideline from Jayden Daniels. Got to get your star players started, and that's exactly what they did right there.
18 yards to Keishawn Booty. The flag comes in pre-snap.
False start. The entire offensive line. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, James Carter is our official. The entire offensive line, yes, that's one of the discussion points this week because it's a reshuffled offensive line.
Very much so, and against a heavy pressure front, they're going to have to be dialed in. Charles Turner is starting for the second week in a row. Dellinger slides out to left guard, and then Emory Jones, a true freshman, he's starting at right tackle. So 2 freshman tackles for the LSU Tigers.
Think about how rare that is in this league. Here's Daniels now on 1st and 15. Plenty of time. This is what he does best. With the legs going across that tiger eye before Jet Johnson gets to him. Crossing midfield is Daniels.
That was a good job there from Jayden Daniels. He didn't take off too soon. Felt like against Florida State, the first read wasn't there, he was gone. That time he gave it some time to develop, saw the Red Sea part, got north and south for a nice gain on 1st and long.
Well, it's nice when your quarterback can get you 13 yards when it's 1st and 15, and it sets up a play caller's dream of 2nd and 2.
Second down, couple of yards.
A local 5 o'clock rare kickoff time here in Baton Rouge, and that gives you the interesting shading as you see the sun covering half of the field. We're used to the local 2:30 kicks or the primetime kicks, so this is a crowd that's filling in. They're getting their last sip at the tailgate. And they say, hold on a second, 5:01? Let me take one more spoonful of jambalaya and a little sip of an adult refreshment.
Amongst other things, yes.
No, trust me, they started yesterday early morning. That's the second time that we've had a clock issue early on here at Tiger Stadium.
I like the start from LSU's offense. Here's second and short. Might try to throw it over their heads. See if you can catch those safeties with sleeping.
Instead, he will give to Goodwin, and Goodwin is going to have the line to gain. Tackled by Tyrus Wheat. Jayden Daniels, the quarterback, has led LSU on touchdown drives now on 8 straight possessions. Last 3 against Florida State. Of course, that 99-yard drive. And then last week, he played just the first quarter against Southern, and he was absolutely flawless against the overmatched opponent there. And again, they're pointing at the line.
False start. Offense, number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Now remember, week 1, we had a starting offensive line that now only has 1 player in the same position for LSU.
And you can see, of course, too, freshman. That's not redshirt. We're talking true freshmen. Guys playing high school football a year ago. Difficult task to go against some guys that are 23, 24 years old for this Mississippi State defensive front.
The second time it's already been a 1st and 15 for the Tigers tonight. Pressure picked up again. Tried to check it down to Goodwin, but it goes incomplete.
A big part of Jayden Daniels' progression in this offense is understanding where all of his targets are and making sure they're all on the same page. A couple throws occasionally in week 1, a little off the mark. Right there, a little off the mark, not on the same page with his back.
Brian Kelly told us when he did sit in the pocket against Florida State, showed some patience, things were there. 2nd and 15, going to take a shot downfield, and that's well beyond Keishawn Booty. Started by DeCam Richardson.
So difficult, too, when going against a group like this that loves to heat up the opposing quarterback. Here in a 3rd and long situation, if I'm Zach Arnett, I'm not bringing the house. I'm going to try to tackle in space. And if I'm LSU, if I see pressure, I'm thinking screen immediately. So I would leave it on the quarterback, see what you're getting in the pre-snap look, and then maybe make an audible based on how they're aligned.
And timeout is going to be called by LSU. When we come back, Tigers will be facing a 3rd and 15 from right here at Tiger Stadium on this opening drive.
They say a good steak shouldn't be covered in sauce. That's why this prime story.
We're back in Death Valley. Every athlete at some point has to deal with not playing well. Luckily for Keishawn Booty, it hasn't happened all that often. But after the FSU loss, social media was vicious. He went dark. There was no internal friction. He just needed time and someone to help him through it. Who better than Brian Kelly? He said, take it from me. Ignorance is bliss. Avoid the noise. Go enjoy yourself on that field. Don't have your phone next to you 24/7. You'll be consumed by it. As coaches, we've got you. Just go play.
I think we could all use that advice sometimes. 3rd and 15. Let's see if they go to number 7 here. Josh Williams comes in as the running back. He's in for pass protection, which he gives here to Jayden Daniels. They're going to go shallow underneath, and it's incomplete. It was thrown to the inside and a little low for Jack Besh.
Ball's thrown a little bit low, but you're going to get zone droppers pretty much everywhere defensively. Just zone droppers all over the place. Work the underneath route. The problem is when you have zone and you're on a shallow cross, you cannot continue running. You got to sit it down. That's what I think Jayden Daniels is expecting from his wide receiver there.
Bramblett punting away. And it takes a bounce and rolls inside the 15. Well, you think air raid offense, you think Will Rogers and the receivers. Rick says, hold on a second. Look at the running game.
Not last week. Take what the defense gives you. 5 defenders in the box. Mike Leach traditionally just beat his head against the wall. We're going to throw it anyways. Not against Arizona. They decided to hand the ball off on 10 of their first 15 snaps. Here's another play later in the sequence. 5 in the box. Just take it. You got 2 backs back there, and there's a newfound emphasis for this offense on the running backs to get downhill. Very, very talented at running back, and of course, couple that with a dangerous passing attack, this offense could potentially become deadly.
2 very good running backs. Dylan Johnson is going to get the start. He's flanking Will Rogers. Will Rogers' 3rd year in the system. Statistically one of the best in the SEC. Rodgers is going to go to Johnson out of the backfield, and Johnson is wrapped up after a gain of just 2 yards. Greg, take us through the Chick-fil-A impact players.
And it's those two running backs from Mississippi State, Dylan Johnson and Woody Marks. These two guys, how they can contribute in the pass game as well, off the charts. And then the speed on the field is necessary for LSU. That's why Micah Baxterville's back there at the second level, and B.J. Ojolari is going to have to bring some fire off the edge to speed up that process for Will Rogers.
2nd and 9. Rodgers gets it out quickly to Caleb Ducking, 6'5" receiver. Big target, great option in the red zone as well. Now we mentioned Rodgers and his productivity. You see the numbers right there. Leads the SEC in all those passing categories. It's 38.5 completions per game. That's best in the country. Facing a 3rd and 4. Confusion as Johnson asked Rodgers, then Rodgers went to the line. Play clock down to 1. As they run it ahead, and about a yard short of that line to gain. That was a tackle by Harold Perkins, the true freshman from Cypress, Texas, who, Greg, we're going to see more of today.
Yeah, Harold Perkins is a very versatile player that they're very excited about. They emphasize the speed at the second level. As you see, 4th down, is Mike Leach going to go for it here.
From their own 22.
In the shadow of his own end zone.
They're on their own 22-yard line. 4th and 1. Let's see if they're just trying to draw them.
The numbers are good for a run play inside.
They late in the box. 4th and 1 from their own 22, and they get it. Johnson goes ahead. The Pirate rolling the dice early here in Baton Rouge.
Great job there by Johnson, too, getting upfield. It's a good job of collapsing there by the LSU defense, but a little too light inside. And Johnson had the angle with momentum.
Not all the onions are in the jambalaya here today. Quickly to the outside as he gets it to Harvey.
Big key when playing against Mississippi State, you have to do an amazing job in space when it comes to open field tackling. They're going to create space. That's what they do. That's what this offense is designed for. But when you have the opportunity to drop them in the open field, you must do it. Broken tackles kill you, and that's how the run after catch and the momentum gets created for the Mississippi State Bulldogs.
That's a guy that just went for it on 4th down from his own 22, and now his offense stays on the field as he always stays calm. 2nd and 6, short pitch, Johnson straight ahead, and another 1st down for Dylan Johnson, who runs so hard, 215 pounds, his junior running back. Major Burns with the tackle.
Just crazy to see Mike Leach run the ball this much. I've known him. I was committed to Mike Leach at Texas Tech, and his recruiting pitches, don't worry, we'll never run it. You're going to throw it a million times. Now, it's unbelievable to see how he's willing to take what the defense is giving him, and as a result, it's opening up some lanes in the passing attack.
Woody Marks come in at running back now. And you saw big number 90, Hillary, surging into that A gap. I like the idea of what would have happened if you stayed committed to Mike Leach.
Outside.
What would happen to Nick Saban in the time?
Number 92, 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
AT&T 5G Skycam with us today, giving us these great looks from here at Tiger Stadium. They had that recruiting trip to go see Coach Leach out at Texas Tech. Hey, who was the young coach who picked you up, the grad assistant?
It was Lincoln Riley.
Whatever happened to that
down
guy?
He's doing okay out there on the West Coast. Tough one tonight against Fresno, though. Don't sleep on fighting Jake Hainers.
1st and 5. Woody Marks, not much there at all. Mike Jones, his 2nd year with LSU. He's part of the Clemson College Football Playoff team in 2020 with the tackle. Talk about that Leach coaching tree a little later on because it is as impressive as could be. Here's Rodgers on 2nd and 4. Oh, and look at that beauty to Ra Thomas, and another 1st down for Hail State.
That's a beautiful throw there from Will Rogers down the field, holding up his wide receiver, Thomas, on the back shoulder. Saw that the defender's back was to him the whole time. Through a perfect stop. And it's another big play for Mississippi State.
Chunk play of 20 to Ra Thomas. 9th play of Mississippi State's first drive. Here's Marks trying to get to that left side and catches a seam. Woody Marks is gone. Touchdown State. 37 yards for Woody Marks.
And you're going to see the defender slide out inside, and then there's the defensive back to the outside. Major Burns has a good spot. They're set up in phase, and he just misses the tackle. And then you can see Woody Marks, the top-end speed, and the newfound commitment to getting downhill, finding pay dirt on the opening drive.
This is where they have struggled. A missed PAT. Raybon misses it. Last week, Biscardi missed the first 2 of their game. So it's 6-zip. But man, oh man, this offense with all the weapons. And Woody Marks full steam ahead in Baton Rouge. 6-zip, Mississippi State.
It's the greatest sandwich roster ever assembled.
Next is the new Great Garlic. The tender rotisserie style chicken is sublime.
In their life in order to get home. What are you thinking?
That I wish I'd gone into teaching.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Subway. Try the all-new Subway Series menu. Your pick of 12 irresistible subs.
You know, when you need a canoe oar to get that jambalaya going, did you see that fried catfish there? Yeah. By the way, you took down pounds.
Yes.
Pounds of fried seafood.
I gave it a run. I sent it at lunch. Had to do it.
How about what they call your order of Power Rangers yesterday? The whole shebang.
The whole shebang.
It's like everything you could fry that came out of water was on that platter.
Plus gumbo and dirty rice.
That's right. Yeah, because you can't do without the gumbo and dirty rice. Woody Marks with a 37-yard touchdown moments ago. We got a knuckler of a kickoff that's fielded awkwardly at the 2-yard line by Nicholas. And with that, the coverage team has plenty of time to get to him just short of the 20-yard line.
After this game, we're not done. As there will be some football under the lights in College Station. Quarterback change for the Texas A&M Aggies. Out is Haynes King. In is Max Johnson. Will he ignite some life into that stagnant Aggie offense as Van Dyke and Miami have been pretty good as well? We'll discuss it always, like we do every single week on Always College Football on ESPN's YouTube channel, anywhere you get your podcast.
Now this is the return of John Emery at running back, and he's tackled right at the line of scrimmage. He's back from a lengthy suspension, was academically ineligible last year's last carry prior to that right there was December 12th of 2020 against Florida. So Greg, 643 days between carries of the football for John Emery.
You know he's fired up to be out there, that's for sure. Coach Kelly says he's going to watch him close. Obviously hasn't played a game in a while, so what's his fatigue level going to be? But he's a natural-born runner and should get plenty of opportunities as the season goes along.
2nd and 9 for Daniels. There are 2 receivers there, including Emery, but it goes to Brian Thomas, and Emery just got lit up, Katie.
Yeah, he did, but when I spoke to him pre-game, he said, I need to get hit. And I'll start feeling good about myself. He said, I am so nervous. It's been 600 and something days since I last put on a uniform. I've been waiting for this day for so long. I'm excited, but I'm nervous. Give me 3 or 4 touches. I'm going to be good.
Well, if he was nervous before the first hit, he should not be nervous anymore. That was a big one there, delivered by Mississippi State's defense.
And Jackie Matthews, the strong safety coming up and getting to Emery. Now 3rd down and 2 as Emery will take the carry on 3rd and 2, and this is going to be about a half-yard short as Matthews was involved once again.
Obviously, Mike Leach went for it in the shadow of his own goalpost. Looks as though LSU is going to go with the exact same thing. I can't say I blame them, too. Challenge the offensive line. Hand it off. Let's see if he can't push the pile for a first down.
So we had Leach go for it from his own 22, and now Brian Kelly's going from it from his own 29 with a completely reshuffled offensive line. And we got a lot of finger pointing in this. Cameron Young is right in the middle for Mississippi State. Opposite Charles Turner, the new starting center.
False start. Offense number 69. 5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
That's the third time that's happened tonight, and that'll send the punt team out there. So Charles Turner is now the starting center. Garrett Dellinger had that job, but he had snapping issues against Florida State. And they feel that Turner is sharp, gives him good communication, a little more reliable, even though Dellinger is the bigger, more physical body and better overall athlete. So Bramlett on to punt away. Thomas back to receive. Jay Bramlett looks to drive this ball. Thomas will field it near the 30 and gets past the first two and has a good return here as he crosses midfield, and Xavion Thomas, the true freshman, will set up Mississippi State from there. Welcome back to college football, John Emery. Will Rogers and the Bulldogs back on offense when we come back to Tiger Stadium.
Matthew, Little Caesars is now the official pizza of the NFL.
Your local GMC dealers. Available for immediate delivery with 0% financing.
Tiger Stadium field, fully in the shadow now. Joe, Greg, and Katie with you here. LSU trailing Mississippi State by 7 after a 22-yard punt return by Thomas. And quickly, this is Harvey, and a loss of one, tackle made by Jay Ward.
And the only reason they're on offense right now is because that guy right there, that is Emory Jones. He is a true freshman right tackle, 6'6", 335. His responsibility is to force guys back in and to make sure that nobody blocks the punt. He takes it a step further. He actually makes an open field tackle at 340 pounds. That is ridiculous. All he had to do was force it back into some of his guys that were coming on pursuit, but he did it himself. Just an unbelievable play by the freshman.
It really is. You do not see that. 2nd and 10. Rogers running out of time and taken down by B.J. Ojulari.
And just overload pressure right here from LSU coming from the field. And eventually, the coverage downfield really, really good. But they cannot keep Ojulari in check long enough. He finally gets home and drops Rogers for a nice loss.
Especially when he's going up against Dylan Johnson in pass protection. Ojulari, one of the best there is in all of college football, off the edge. And that makes for a 3rd and 19. They drop 8 against the air raid, and what a strike! A yard short of the line to gain is Rufus Harvey, but a good connection from Rogers. Going to be 4th and 1. Johnson carried it straight ahead when Leach went for it and converted on 4th down from his own 22 on their first drive. Yard completion to Harvey, and now Johnson doesn't get it. Tackled for a loss. Burns was involved, as was Wingo. Great surge in the middle from LSU. Major Burns a little slow to get up. So a turnover on downs with just over 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
We showed you earlier the success that Mississippi State was having offensively working against light boxes. This is not a light box. You got guys coming from all over the place in an obvious short yard situation. You only have 5 blockers and 7 guys that are penetrating. And Burns slides in there off the edge and drops Johnson in the backfield. Also a nice play there too. Looked like Mike Jones was coming in as well around. Just you can't run it into a look like that. It's all out against the run. 7 against 5. The defense is going to be advantage every single time.
So Mike Leach has gone for it 2 times on 4th down. Turns the ball over there as Burns is helped back to his feet. They consider him really their top communicator in the back end. Guy who really helps out this defense in so many ways.
Well, Tess, Greg, you guys could imagine Brian Kelly spent some time with the offensive line during that last break, and he said, look, we can move the ball on these guys if we stay on schedule. We just have to settle down, clean it up, and then he called for Charles Turner, the starting center, to get everybody on the same page this next drive.
Yeah, those 5-yard pre-snap penalties, it's understandable on the road, but at home, I mean, just can't happen. Not when you're going against a defense that's this aggressive and makes it so tough on you.
LSU takes over at the 41. And Goodwin can't go anywhere at all. That was Randy Charlton with the tackle.
Some of the teams that have had some success against Mississippi State are the teams that have spread it horizontally. Texas Tech, Ole Miss. They made a living getting the ball out of their quarterback's hands and stretching the field vertically. If you try to go right at them and play them in a phone booth, you're going to lose. But if you stretch the field, you have a chance. And so far, LSU hasn't really opted to do that.
Mason Taylor in motion on 2nd and 10. Daniels looked to the left. Didn't like what he saw, and he's not going to like Nathan Pickering wrapping him up. Pickering, who had an interception in a key moment in the 3rd quarter last week against Arizona.
Right there, just really got muddied up. As you see Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, coming down from Cincinnati. They did a great job developing Desmond Ridder into an NFL player. Daniels has all the tools, but just doesn't have the consistency at this point of his development.
Denbrock has experience with Brian Kelly before. 7 years on the staff at Notre Dame prior to the time with Luke Fickell in Cincinnati. 3rd and 14. Daniels going to try to do it with his legs. Had no chance at all. Tyrus Wheat and Buki Watson were waiting on him.
Zach Arnett's got to be really excited with what he's seen so far. Really haven't given up much outside of that one big run by Jayden Daniels early when they just got a little bit too deep in some of their drops. So far, it's been a really nice start from Mississippi State defensively.
Bramblett on the punt again. 3 drives, 3 punts for LSU. Oh, that had a chance inside the 5, but it took the hop into the end zone. Well, we mentioned it earlier. You were talking about how at one point you were committed to play for Coach Leach, and Lincoln Riley picked you up at the airport as an assistant coach. But this coaching tree that he has, I think it's one of the best in all of football.
It really is. I mean, an offensive and defensive guys. I mean, Dave Aranda coming from the tree is somewhat surprising, obviously, but most of these guys have cut their teeth on the offensive side, scoring points, and of course the air raid. There's not a single offense in college football that doesn't have an air raid player too. It's just he's completely revolutionized offensive football there in the mid-2000s, and now obviously after his trip to Washington State, you can see it really starting to work here in the SEC as well. Newfound commitment to the run game too. He's going to have some of his former assistants smiling because Dana Holgorsen once told me that he got kicked out of the air raid club because he ran it too much.
Don't run it too much. Coach Leach, we asked him about the coaching tree the other day. So listen, I get excited about it. I love what he said. You know, the day I hired most of them, I thought they'd be pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. How about it? Lincoln Riley, Dave Aranda, didn't me, Dana Holgorsen. Rogers, as he gets it quickly to Calvin.
One thing he's changed too, Mike Leach traditionally has been a high-octane tempo guy. When you think about Tennessee and you think about some of the guys that Sonny Dykes and some of the others that have come from the tree, they really want to run as many plays as humanly possible as quickly as possible. Mike Leach has really evolved to the point where he's more of a ball control offense, and it's pretty crazy just how that evolution has helped the defense, especially at Mississippi State.
And look at that little piece of paper just folded up. You got the big laminated thing, just a little piece of paper that he throws in his pocket. Will Rogers has started this game 7-7 for 48 yards. Marks had the 37-yard touchdown. Marks and Johnson in the game together right now. 2nd and 1. Rogers to pass. Has all day to think about it. A good coverage downfield, and Mekhi Wingo was eventually running down Will Rogers.
Interesting here on short yardage situation. The last couple attempts, Mike Leach has opted to hand the football off, even though LSU started to stack defenders close to the line of scrimmage. So now let's see how many defenders are in there, and if Mike Leach opts to throw it on a 3rd and short situation. Looks like there's going to be 6 defenders in the box for LSU.
3rd down and 1. Rogers inside screen and tackled right at the line of scrimmage. That was well defensed that time by Jay Ward. Tulu Griffin just couldn't get that engine revving. He had no room, as Jay Ward was quick to get to him.
Just a great job of closing in there by the LSU defense. It's Mike Leach. Offense on the ball yet again.
Final seconds here of this first quarter as the offense stays out there on 4th and 1, and we're going to have triple zeros to end this first quarter. End of 1 here at Tiger Stadium, the SEC opener for both Mississippi State and LSU. First time Leach and Brian Kelly have met up, and it was Woody Marks racing his way for 37 yards and a score. 6-0 Hail State.
At Chipotle, our garlic guajillo recipe brings a whole new dimension to it.
You're watching the SEC on ESPN. Mike the Tiger chilling out on a hot day here in Baton Rouge. We've been hot with 4th downs. Leach is going to try it again. 3rd time he's gone for it on 4th and short. This from his own 29-yard line. Made one, turned it over once.
A lot of guys up near the line of scrimmage for LSU. This would indicate throw to me, based on some of the room you have to potentially get a completion.
A 4th and 1 to start the second quarter, and again there's nothing there. 2 straight times a turnover on downs as Big Mekhi Wingo says, not here, not today, not again. LSU football.
There's just too many guys in there. I mean, you just can't. As they're starting to collapse on it, Will Rogers, not a huge threat to pull it on his own read. He can and will, but either way, there's only 5 blockers. Will Rogers has to read the end man on the line of scrimmage. Ojulari crashes. Will Rogers has to pull that and take it himself because you just don't have enough blockers play side to be able to pick up a short yardage situation.
Good job by the linebacker, Mike Jones, as well. Best LSU starting field position. Last 2 drives have been a 3-and-out for Jayden Daniels and the Tigers. Pressure, but he dumps it off to Williams, and Josh Williams just makes the most of it to try to get back towards the line of scrimmage before Buki Watson is able to make the tackle.
Protection there is awful for Williams. He finds himself on the receiving end because he just completely whiffed on a blitzer.
Second and 10. Fumbles the ball, does Daniels, and it's still loose. And Mississippi State has it. Mesh point was awkward. Daniels tried to secure it, and instead, Tyrus Wheat is wrapped around it.
And this is just really bad right here. Look at the mesh point here in the middle. All right, as soon as that running back gets across to the left hip and he's outside the frame, that has to be an automatic give to the running back. If you get past, and anyone that's ever done zone read or triple option, veer, you name it, you have to make your decision before the ball crosses your lead hip. That time, Jayden Daniels tried to make it way too late, or Williams held on too long, but either way, just really poorly done on the mesh.
Rogers, as he goes to Ra Thomas right away, and we go to Matt Berry in studio.
Joe Tess, happy College Football Saturday. Time now for your All-State Mayhem moment. Final play from Boone. App State down 28-26. Chase Bryce really doesn't have anywhere to go. Short throws it. Watch what happens. Tip, deflection, Christian Horn, ball game. It is getting weird in Boone again. App State at the buzzer, 32-28.
Matt, that is outrageous. Jameer Calvin with the reception for Mississippi State. I mean, Greg, it was thrown short of the end zone, the Hail Mary. That was at the 5-yard line.
It was perfectly executed by the jump man, though. Tip it to the guy that's out in front, and then they secure the edge. It was like a toss sweep. Things are getting wild at the Rock right now. Game day this morning. That place, Boone, I'm telling you, put it on your bucket list. It is awesome.
Can you imagine? They were partying deep into the night last week. Here they go again. Second and 4. Rogers going to try to leak out of that pocket, and he will have the first down as he was eventually tracked down by Jay Ward.
This is part of Rogers' game that's very underappreciated. He's not going to necessarily carve you up a play. Like, no defensive coordinator is going to install the plan saying, hey, we got to make sure we're careful about this guy taking off and running. But he can keep you honest and extend drives. A good job right there getting north and south and not taking the hit in the open field.
So 6 yards from Rogers. First down just past midfield. Well overthrown. The intended target was Ra Thomas. He's already been 30 yards receiving in this first half.
Tell you what I love most about Will Rogers is anticipation. The way he gets the ball out of his hand before the receiver even makes his break. Look at the ball's released right here. The receiver's 3 yards away from making this break on a speed out. He's thrown perfectly on time to a spot. He does it time and time and time again. I don't know how you cover it when you throw with that kind of anticipation. That's what makes him really special in this offense.
He's 10 of 12 passing so far tonight. And it's interesting when you talk to the coaches, when you talk to players, everybody around the program, their view on Will Rogers. Second and 10 now. As he extends and ready to get rid of it, and incomplete. But among the coaches, they are absolutely incredulous that he's not talked about as that Tier 1 SEC quarterback, let alone nationally. They're incredulous to the fact of the way that he's discussed, or lack of discussion, among the Tier 1 type players.
He's the real deal. He really is. And I think it's an unfair label that gets put on every air raid quarterback. Say, oh, they're a product of the system. Product of the system. Yeah, well, some guys operate the system better than others, and Will Rogers is certainly one of those guys.
Well, both teams are 0 for 3 on third down. Let's see what Will Rogers looks like on a 3rd and 10. Ball is out! Mississippi State is able to secure it. Sack fumble on 3rd and long. Savion Jones getting involved. You see B.J. Ojolari high-fiving, and Nick Jones was able to secure that ball from Mississippi State, the left guard.
I mean, look at this alignment, though. I mean, you have 3 guys that are head up or outside the tackle, all overloading it. I mean, it's just really difficult. If you overload it, there's 2 guys to block 3. The center has to get all the way out there, and he can't get there in time. As you can see, Jones coming in from behind and making a play. It's just a complete overload, and it's so difficult. Ball's got to come out. That one's on Will Rogers.
Archer Trafford going to try to pin LSU here. Reverse rotation punt. And fielded at the 5-yard line by young Greg Clayton. And with that, LSU is going to have poor field position. Marcus Banks on special teams with the tackle. Clayton said, I'm going to field this. And Mississippi State special teams didn't have a problem with that.
What if you were a major transit system with billions of passengers taking millions of trips every year? You weren't about to let any cyber attacks slow you.
Beautiful afternoon here at Tiger Stadium. Reminder, Sunday Night Baseball, Dodgers, Giants. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock with baseball tonight. Sunday Night Countdown. Just 6-zip here in Baton Rouge. Mississippi State. Goodwin is able to get some breathing room to the 8-yard line. Boy, what a difference a week makes. You play an overmatched Southern team. You have 5 straight touchdown drives. You go against this veteran and difficult to match up with Mississippi State defense. 3 punts and a fumble.
Yeah, and they are physical too, man. I mean, it is going to be a war in the trenches for this young offensive line, especially a tackle.
Second and 8. Daniels from his own end zone. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Mississippi State, Zach Arnett, defensive coordinator. Greg, they get a stop here and put their team in prime position.
Yeah, absolutely. Your goal as an offense when you're backed up is to pick up 1 first down just to make it easier on your punter. Right here, obviously difficult line to gain here on 3rd and medium. Got to think at some point they're going to find Neighbors. It's been quiet so far. He's down here at the bottom working against soft coverage.
You have to have a 3rd down conversion in this game. That is Neighbors now in motion in the slot. 3rd down. Daniels going to try to run for it, and that is clogged up as he is brought down in the middle of that defense. That was DeMonte Russell who wrapped him up. Zach Arnett, boy, is he a attention-grabbing defensive coordinator.
Another good pressure there from Mississippi State, too. I mean, there were a couple guys open for LSU. It just, the protection kind of collapsed. And Jayden got uneasy, as you can see Brian Kelly very frustrated with his offensive performance so far.
Bramblett now punting out of his own end zone. He came over from Notre Dame with Kelly. Got to set up the return. Got good hang time, and that forces the fair catch at the 41-yard line. Bulldogs with the ball when we return to Tiger Stadium.
Here's what you expect.
Welcome back to Death Valley. Mississippi State with a 6-point lead, but the last few series has not gone well for the Bulldogs. So Mike Leach brought everybody on the offense together on the sidelines, offensive linemen, his receivers, running backs, and Will Rogers. He was all over the receivers, guys. He wants them to be more physical. He said, open up your hands at the line, make some contact and get some separation. He told Will Rogers, you got to get rid of the ball a little bit quicker.
Well, Katie, as we know, Will Rogers is not going to be afraid of getting the message across. Leach said to us the other day, he said, this guy's not afraid of being a leader. Ever since he was a freshman, we put him in the starting lineup. He will control that locker room.
No doubt about it. And he needs to, right? A lot of new faces from time to time that shuffle in. He's been the guy now for 3 years. And if the offense isn't quite in rhythm, it's going to fall on him, especially with some of the overload pressures that LSU's brought so far.
LSU defensive front doing a good job in some big spots. Woody Marks struggling to find much there. He was tackled by Roy. Also getting in was Baskerville. Last week he had a pick 6. We didn't see Baskerville week 1 against Florida State. He gets him a little more speed at the linebacker position. 2nd and 7. 4-man rush. Rodgers gets it out quickly, and he does so to ducking. What's up, Matt?
All right, guys, top of the hour. I want to give you some network traffic going on. A lot of booth hits right now for these 7 p.m. games. If you want to know who the announcing crews are, there you go. Plus, Wake Forest and Liberty on ACC Network. That way, McElroy knows how to set up his iPad in the booth. There you have it. ESPN, ESPN2, ACC Network, and Plus.
This guy's got every piece of technology working nonstop on a Saturday. If there's a way to watch a game, he'll get it done.
I love ball.
3rd down and 1. Marks in the backfield with Rodgers. Remember, Marks had the big touchdown run earlier today. He gets the call on 3rd and 1, and he will have the first down. And that's the first 3rd down conversion of the game for either team. They were combined 0 for 8 prior to that.
And that was a good look to hand the ball play side right there. LSU only had 3 defenders on that side of the center. That means you have 3 blockers. The center, the right guard, and the right tackle. They were able to lock up, and March was able to surge forward. So finally, for the first time in a while, it felt like for Mike Leach and this offense, they had some favorable numbers in the run game.
See Miami and A&M coming up later. Max Johnson will be the starting quarterback for A&M. Of course, started 12 games here for LSU. Out of the backfield this time is Price, and Price is torn down by Jay Ward. A tackle for loss. Veteran leader of the defensive backs. Jay Ward. That's a great play there.
Just a good job of rallying here. LSU's defense doing a really good job of fighting off the blockers for Mississippi State. This is a group that traditionally does a pretty good job blocking on the perimeter. LSU's been a step quicker than the Mississippi State wide receivers as they've tried to lock up and block downfield.
2nd and 13. Rodgers taken down again. Harold Perkins, the true freshman, and that's exactly what they want to see out of him. He has impressed the coaches right away. 3rd sack for LSU, Greg.
And this is a thing of beauty. You get Perkins, an excellent pass rusher, one-on-one against the undersized Woody Marks. Marks whiffs, and Perkins is able to get around and drop Rodgers for a big sack. Just a great job of drawing up that twist game in the middle and creating a favorable matchup for the LSU Tigers.
Third and 23. Rodgers pressured again. Marks just gets the check down and can go absolutely nowhere. DJ Ojolari, so active, freshened up. Sat out last week. Baskerville involved there. Another great effort from that defensive front of LSU.
And Matt House, the defensive coordinator for LSU, has to be thrilled with what he's seen so far. Both defensive coordinators, they're 2 or 3 steps ahead of the opposing offense. Been mixing looks, been mixing pressures, and have found a decent amount of results here to the first 2/3 of this 2nd quarter.
New punter for Mississippi State, that's George Georgopoulos, the grad student. Greg Clayton back to return, heels on the 17-yard line. Georgopoulos boots it away, gets a good strike of the ball, fair catch down near the 10-yard line for Clayton. 51-yard punt for George Georgopoulos. Just over 6 minutes to go. Will those Tigers be roaring before halftime?
So you've taken up running. Apple Watch has taken up a few.
Sunday Night Baseball, Sundays at 7 on ESPN.
It's the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. Their Tigers are getting the ball just over 6 minutes to go before half at their own 11-yard line. Jayden Daniels just 3 completions so far in this first half as he gives to Emery. And Emery, as we told you, his first game in over 600 days. He goes ahead for 3 yards. Tackled by Green.
I think it's going to be really important for them to continue to be efficient on first down. So far tonight, LSU's offense has really been out of rhythm. Felt a little bit like the Florida State game, to be honest with you. Didn't get much of a rhythm there until the third quarter.
Remember, entirely new offensive line. Emery swings around, takes the pass, lowers the shoulder, and kept his balance for a first down. Jackie Matthews with the tackle from Mississippi State, but a good play from John Emery.
And this is the key against Mississippi State. If you want to go right at them, they welcome that challenge. If you want to play them in a phone booth, Mississippi State will say bring it on, and you better bring some knuckles because we're going to have a fist fight. But if you make them play in space on the perimeter, those are the way teams have taken advantage of this defense dating back to last year.
Emery's going to get more work, just a couple of yards there. Remember, one of the big storylines tonight, we talked to Mike Denbrock and Brian Kelly, said offensive line is what drives us. That's the #1 focus. But this is a different line than we saw week 1 against Florida State. Only Will Campbell, the true freshman left tackle, remains in the same position.
And they're without maybe their best offensive lineman, Anthony Bradford, the right guard. It's a coach's decision, so potentially missing him big tonight as well.
Daniels on 2nd and 9. They go with the screen. Booty. And he only gets about 1.5 yards. Tayshaun Booty slow to get involved against Florida State. Last week they got it to him early. 5 of the first 9 plays. And tonight 2 receptions for 20 yards with just over 4 minutes to go before we get to Matt, Jesse, and Joey in the halftime report. Third down and 9, empty look for Daniels. Just a 4-man rush. Good coverage downfield. Daniels can't get away. Tripped up by Tyrus Wheat, excuse me, who had the fumble recovery earlier. Zach Arnett and that defense doing their job again. They are 0 for 5 on 3rd down, Greg, as LSU.
Yeah, and they're going to see a guy come out here in just a minute and come around into the right. Watch this. This is just right here. I mean, wide open. And Jayden Daniels doesn't see him. I mean, you have to be able to survey the field. You make that throw, it's an easy pitch and catch. He might still be running.
5th punt of the day already for Bramblett. And another good return from Thomas. Xavion Thomas trying to get to the edge, and he gets to midfield. And it was Bramblett, the punter, who had to angle over and get to him. A 49-yard punt, but a 26-yard return for Thomas.
As Thomas makes a guy miss, and the third phase, which has plagued LSU throughout the first 3 weeks, continues to be a problem tonight as Mississippi State on their side of the 50.
Stealth mode?
Yeah.
Shh. Don't PTA meetings end at 9?
Oh, got lost. It's a whole new dimension of flavor.
I'm Matt Berry. Coming up in the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, you have to see the Appalachian State finish again. What a season they have. Remarkable finish, historic. We'll show you highlights in Boone coming up. Plus, it appears Georgia's Georgia again, which is bad news for everybody else. And Oklahoma just stomps Nebraska. Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway join me coming up.
I mean, Georgia's just silly. By the way, Dylan Johnson chunking it up here. Big run off right tackle for Dylan Johnson, as Mississippi State started that drive in LSU territory, and now Johnson goes for 35 yards.
And this is just a great job by the right tackle. They're pinning, that's Cameron Jones, pinning the defensive end inside. You get the right guard looping out around, that's Cole Smith. Just a great job executing the pin and pull right there. Similar play to what they scored on earlier. And after they'd run it up inside several times in a row without a ton of success, they find a little bit of room on the perimeter.
And I think this LSU defensive front has been excellent. And then just 2 run plays to the edge that's gotten the best of that. And now Rodgers to the end zone, and it's incomplete, looking for ducking. He's their target in the red zone. 6'5", had 2 touchdown catches last week at Arizona.
This is where this offense, especially as you get closer and closer and closer to the goal line, this is where the air raid offense becomes human, because you can't spread the field vertically. They're a little bit limited with some of their pass concepts because you can't run out of the back of the end zone. So this oftentimes a little bit trickier, not from this distance on the 12, but as you get closer to the 5 and inside the 5, it becomes very difficult.
2nd and 10 from the 13. A-gap pressure, gets picked up, going to the end zone, and it is a touchdown, Rob Thomas. Great body control, ball skills, and scoring for State. He was matched up with Richardson, and he got the best of him. Rogers to Thomas. Quick strike after the big run by Dylan Johnson. And extra points have been an adventure. Raybon missed earlier. Last week, Biscardi missed the first 2. Wobbly snap, but Raybon puts it right through. 13-zip, Mississippi State, quick strike. It was just 3 plays, 48 yards, taking 54 seconds.
And this is big time by Will Rogers. It's an overload pressure. He has an unblocked defender. That's Greg Brooks, number 3, in his face. He knows that he's got to get rid of the football before Greg Brooks arrives. He throws it up and allows Thomas to go up and high point the football. And as you can see, the defender unable, Colby Richardson, unable to locate where the ball was. It's a nice catch there by Thomas, taking it off Richardson's helmet. Beautiful throw and catch and terrific execution against the pressure look brought by LSU.
Brian Kelly, his first SEC game. Will Rogers, 12 of 16, 92 yards. Touchdown moments ago. Woody Marks had the big touchdown to open up the scoring. Field position game worked out well for Mississippi State. They started that drive in LSU territory. They got the big run, and then they cashed in. Hey, Monday Night Football, we have 2 NFL games on 2 different networks. You got the Titans and Bills at 7:15 on ESPN. And then it's Vikings, Eagles, 8:30 on ABC, and that's also available on ESPN+. Keishawn Boutte, only 2 catches for 20 yards.
And at some point, they got to start force feeding him. And Jayden Daniels really does. He needs to keep his eyes downfield. Did a great job of that last week. Hasn't done as good a job of it tonight.
Daniels going to check down to Williams. And Williams will go ahead for 8 yards before Buki Watson tackles him. 2 timeouts remain for LSU. We come under 2 minutes to play in this first half. Second and 2. Daniels. As he's going to get to the edge and run for the first down and make it out past the 45-yard line. There may have been a face mask on that previous play, Greg.
Yeah, as you can see, as he's getting dragged to the ground, here's Williams. Watch the right hand of the defender right there. I mean, clear as day. Very fortunate there as Watson clearly grabbed it. Should have been called.
First down after the 13-yard run by Daniels, and he goes to Williams again, and Williams spins his way to the 49-yard line. He was in the grasp of DeCamp Richardson.
This is where Jayden Daniels has really been at his best. When they're in tempo and when they're not overanalyzing things in the pre-snap, that's when he's been his most efficient as a player.
Second and 7. Daniels is going to run again. He'll have the first down again, and he's inside the 40. Of course, the 99-yard drive against Florida State week 1. Just finding that rhythm, a little bit of tempo.
Absolutely, but as he escapes, man, these Mississippi State defenders, they've been told all week, hey man, this guy wants to run, this guy wants to run it. He keeps his eyes downfield. He's going to catch a guy wide open, and there have been several tonight that as he scrambles, man, eyes downfield and launch a moonshot.
Quickly just hooking it up to Malik Neighbors, and Neighbors will have it at the 27-yard line as he goes ahead for 8 yards. Jayden Daniels is trying to get something going here before the half. You know, you brought it up about just finding that rhythm and getting a little bit of pace. We were talking to Brian Kelly yesterday, and he said, listen, you can look at the play clock, and if he snaps before 15 seconds, he's fine. He actually likes that. But if it goes past 15, starts to overanalyze, starts to think, looking over the defense a little too much.
Yeah, you call it paralysis by overanalysis. And sometimes if you're thinking too much, you're not playing very fast.
Right.
I think part of what makes him a great player is his athleticism and his ability to improvise and make plays off schedule. What I'd like for him to advance with is as he's making those moves and as he's running and threatening the line of scrimmage, as he escapes as a capable runner, keep it in a passing posture. Keep the ball in a position where you can still throw the football, because when you execute the scramble drills, that's when big plays happen, and they've left a few plays on the field tonight with guys open downfield, and he just hasn't seen them.
61 seconds until halftime. 1 timeout remaining for LSU. 2nd and 2. Daniels. A little bit of pressure, gets out to the right. He's going to run again. He's had a lot of success with the legs, and he's inside the 10 for a 1st and goal LSU with 52 seconds before half.
And a good job this time. He feels the pocket, steps up. They have a spy against him, but he's just too fast. As you can see, he's hit 22 miles an hour on the catapult system, so he's a guy that can really get out and stretch it in the open field. That time the spy from Mississippi State not fast enough to track down Daniels.
1st and goal. Daniels looks left, goes inside, driving to the goal line, and in is Jayden Jenkins. Just what they needed. Jenkins, who had the touchdown catch on the last play of the game in the thriller week 1 against Florida State. Then came out this group. Damian Ramos. You know what happened there. But they have changed up the production on extra point and field goal, and with that, Ramos has been solid. That was a good-looking drive for LSU, Greg. 7 plays, 75 yards. Jayden Daniels converting with his legs and then going to Jenkins.
Yeah, and a great throw here. I mean, look how quickly the ball gets out of Jayden Daniels' hands. Jenkins catches it. Just get it to your guys in space. As much has been made about this wide receiver core, how deep they are, how talented they are, how it might be the best position group at wide receiver in the SEC. Now, they had moments in the first couple weeks, but man, when you're going down the list and you got Booty and Jayden Jenkins, who always seems to make big plays in big moments, Jack Bech, Malik Neighbors, just get it to them in space and let great things happen. Just perfectly executed in the 2-minute drill, as you see the offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock thrilled with the execution with a little bit of tempo on their side.
Well, and BK nailed it when it comes to Daniels, right? In terms of winning snaps, play clock, all of it, finding that comfort zone.
Sometimes just when it happens faster, you don't have time to think about it.
That's right.
You just react and go be a playmaker. It's exactly what he did on that drive. You can see an LSU player.
And that's Jenkins. That's Jenkins who just scored the touchdown. Jayden Jenkins, he was limping there after that touchdown. Then he just goes down. Says, I need to get checked out here. Something's off.
see him kind of shaking his head, able to get to the sideline under his own power. So I think he's earned a little break on the kickoff team, but hopefully he'll be okay. It'll be really nice to get him back in the second half if he's able to go. He's the guy that always, doesn't matter when it is, might not necessarily get talked about as much as the others, but he's always in position to make a huge play for this offense.
Almost drills this out of the back of the end zone. Fighting Spirit is brought to you by Modelo, and Jayden Daniels showed some fighting spirit on that last drive.
Yeah, he did. Played with great rhythm, too. I mean, here he is, escaping the pocket. Had guys downfield, but he decides to take it himself. No problem. Get north and south and protect your body. Another situation here. This time, Mississippi State kind of loses track of where he's at, and he's able to beat Charlton around the corner, and then getting the ball out of his hands quickly. I love seeing this from Jayden Daniels. He needs to continue to grow in that regard. Don't need to hold it forever. Just get rid of the ball, get it to your wide receivers, and see what they can do after the catch. So just really a nicely executed drive there from LSU's offense right down the field. Give some life to this crowd.
One of the first LSU 6 drives with 5 punts and a fumble. They needed that. They got it. Rogers gets it out quickly and gets it complete to Ducking. Mississippi State has 3 timeouts remaining. 41 seconds to work here. 16 yards to Ducking. They're out to the 41-yard line.
Big thing here if you're Rogers, even though you have the timeouts, the ball's got to come out very quickly. Anticipate. We've already talked about that being one of his biggest strengths. Cannot take a sack, cannot have negative plays in a 2-minute operation under a minute.
LSU has 3 sacks of Will Rogers in this first half. And you can see the finger pointing from Johnson at left tackle as Allegate tried to get back.
Outside. Defense, number 11, in the neutral zone, causing the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Johnson was quick to react at that left tackle spot, get the penalty. Remember, the left tackle last year was Charles Cross, who was off to the NFL as the 9th overall pick. First and 5. Here's Marks, and Marks is dragged down by Micah Baskerville.
It's a great play by Baskerville. Wow. I mean, we talked about his speed. I mean, goodness gracious.
A timeout by Mississippi State.
I mean, watch where he's at. He's right here, and look how quickly he closes. I mean, they talk about his speed. He recognizes it, gets right over the top, immediately in a beeline, and drops Marks. There was a lot of room. If he's not there, it's a decent amount of room. He gets one-on-one against Major Burns there at the 3rd level.
Hey, let's talk a little SEC football next Saturday, and we'll remind you that SEC Network Plus will have #1 Georgia against Kent State. Tulsa's going to take on Ole Miss at 4. At 7:30, it's this LSU team against New Mexico on SEC Network Plus, and Bama and Vandy will be in prime time on the SEC Network. Bama was hosting UL Monroe today. You can imagine what that's been looking like. Bryce Young left the game after 236 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jalen Milroe getting some time at quarterback. 2nd and 2. Rogers. He's got a lot of time but doesn't have options, so it'll be 3rd down with 29 seconds remaining.
Obviously, thinking about points, thinking about the drive that you're putting together, but the first priority naturally in this spot, or at least for anyone not named Mike Leach, is to get the first down. Mike Leach probably like, all right, doesn't matter. You get it, you don't. We'll go for it on 4th. But either way, this right here, this is where you totally emphasize getting the first down, far more so than trying to pick up chunk yardage.
3rd and 2. Rogers, that's incomplete. Had his man over the middle in Harvey, but they couldn't connect. So it will be 4th down.
I know Mike Leach is really aggressive, and I respect the heck out of him for that. He does his own thing and does not care what anyone else says.
You can't care less. It's impossible to care less.
This is too much. I mean, like you're only 15, 16 yards away. You're one throw away from giving LSU potentially 3 points. So you have to be a little conservative every once in a while. But I'd be real mindful of the fake if I'm LSU.
And that's why they're in safe. There is no return man. On 4th and 2, base defense as Georgopoulos will punt away. No return man for LSU. And with that, it checks up at the 11-yard line. But we've seen plenty of 4th down plays, Greg.
Yeah, they have not been scared to go for it. Here's the first one when they were successful. But they have not been as successful recently. They've gone with a similar play. And the overload defensively that you are seeing from LSU, they are just crashing on the running back. At some point, if they get back into a 4th and short yardage situation, they need to pull that zone read and let Will Rogers pick it up. He's not going to run 75 yards to the house, but he can get you 3 or 4 yards to keep the drive alive. So anticipate as they move forward into the second half, them finding more solutions on short yardage situations, because that's hurt Mississippi State so far here in the first half.
And Woody Marks went for that 37-yard touchdown. Rogers went to Ra Thomas. And then Daniels with the quick work with a little bit of tempo to get the Tigers on the board. Here's Katie with Coach.
Coach Kelly, your quarterback took matters into his own hands to get onto the scoreboard. What do you need to see from your offense in the next half?
Well, we had too many penalties in the first quarter. We had 4, penalties. Turned the football over. It was not really good execution, and they responded, though, with a great drive at the end of the half. Our defense played great. Their defense is playing great. It's, 13-7 at the half, and we're going to have to play better in the second half. And, both teams are scrapping for every yard right now.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
They really are. Both defenses have had plenty of moments. 13-7. Let's head to the studio for our halftime report with Matt, Joey, and Jesse. Gentlemen, take it away.
Joe Test, thank you for the ball. It is time now for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report as we get you caught up on a busy Saturday night in college sports throughout the network. We're going to start with Appalachian State and Troy, and what a finish it was, guys. Look, Appalachian, they had the national television audience with College Game Day this morning. 4th and goal, they can't convert.
Troy's just going to run the clock out.
That's
now,
it.
right?
You'd think. But
that was a 17-play drive.
But App State gets the ball left. 2 seconds left. This is Chase Bryce. This ball is woefully short of the goal line. Christian Horn comes up with
the way
it.
He planned it.
And App State
They drew
wins.
it up that way, Palmer.
That's what you do.
Short.
No. You throw it short, you tip it up, and there's a trail guy there to make the play.
A guy like
you
me that
actually
can jump, tip it
practice
to
that.
Barry that can't jump.
Look at this.
Yeah, get up high,
Absolutely
tip it to Barry.
incredible.
It was weird all week in Boone. It just got weirder after that finish.
That is how college football is supposed to look and sound. And with that, welcome in Matt, Jesse, and Joey in the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. There are so many things with this Troy and App State game because it looked as if Troy made this more difficult on themselves than they should have.
Yeah.
But the magic continues for Appalachian State.
It's crazy for App State. A crazy game week 1 against North Carolina. Didn't pull it off. Knock off Texas A&M. And then this would have been us. You would have been throwing the ball.
That's right.
Couldn't get it all the way there.
I probably would have put it 10 yards past the end zone because of my own talent.
Not enough arm to get it there. I would have had to jump to get it because you can't jump. But I'd have smacked it to you.
And I'd have won.
You'd have won it.
And I'd have won for Sean Clark and everybody else. But I mean, what a season they're having.
They're the cardiac kids right now. And so they're playing James Madison next week. That's appointment viewing. You've got to watch to see what's going to happen to this team next. It's remarkable. Troy, by the way, had a chance for an interception 2 plays before that Hail Mary. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Right through the guy's hands.
I mean, you got to finish the game if you're Troy, but that was awesome.
We are efforting Sean Clark for college football final to see if we can have him explain to us what happened and what it was like inside Appalachian State. If Boone is still standing, we hope you are, because it's an incredible town. Still ahead of the Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Guys, that bad news. Georgia's still Georgia.
Yeah.
Alabama's still Alabama.
They recruit.
And we are still Matt, Jesse.
Unstoppable, losing's impossible. Go against the team, the thing they know not to do. Right.
Adam, looking with your next vehicle easy. So come see us and win big. Or shop online at hoodchevy.com. Everything automotive under one hood.
This halftime report is presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Matt, Jesse, and Joey back with you. So I got to get this figured out. Georgia, South Carolina. Who is Jesse's true man crush? Is it Stetson Bennett or is it Brock Bowers?
Stetson Bennett pajamas, but I got Brock Bowers socks. This guy's unbelievable as a tight end. Can catch the ball. How about dialing him up on a reverse?
What do you pair a guy like Bowers with? From Napa.
Joseph Phelps Insignia.
Little stinky cheese.
97.
Yeah.
Good year.
You guys drink too much.
I mean,
Stetson Bennett's
you cannot drink
about
enough 97.
75% of his balls this year.
How about this? I mean, he is a Gronk starter kit waiting to happen here, and he's got breakaway speed that you would.
He does too. How about the tight end room for Georgia? By the way, not just him. Darnell Washington, 6'7". Eric Gilbert has the talent to be a big-time player on Sunday, and they got a true freshman in Oscar Delp, who's a machine. NFL teams would drool over that tight end room.
Georgia just keeps winning and big over SEC opponents. Alabama, after the close miss at Texas a week ago, they got ULM, so you figured the Tide would give them all of it. Here, Will Anderson Jr. pick 6.
And this is ULM helping out Alabama. That's giving away an interception. You cannot do that on the road at the number 2 team in the country.
So you had Alabama up 7-0 offense. You had Alabama up 14-0 defense. You have Alabama up 21-0 special teams. So when a coach gets into a press conference and says we got to be executing in all 3 phases, Alabama does.
Yeah, and this is what Bryce Young did so well in the fourth quarter against Texas last week. Scrambling, little spin move, circle button. He did throw 2 picks.
60.
They still hung 63 on ULM.
What was that line, Joe?
I'm not sure what that one was.
Wish took it.
Lane Kiffin had the portal guys going today. Zach Evans from TCU. This was name your number for
Zach Evans
Ole Miss.
was over 100 yards rushing. Ole Miss was over 500 total yards, while Georgia Tech not so much.
42-0. Penn State and Auburn. The big one on the plane, Sean Clifford. Watch this hit.
Yeah, it was physical early. Owen Papo comes over, knocks the ball out of Sean Clifford's head. I don't know if Clifford knew where he was for a second. This is a clean hit, by the way. No penalty, no targeting.
You guys were stunned, though, they didn't throw the flag.
Yeah,
I thought you'd see a flag
today.
And then Clifford takes it himself, 7-3 Penn State. Later in the third, Penn State in the red zone, Katron Allen from 6 yards out.
Auburn had 450 total yards. 12 points, though. You know what that happens? They turn it over 4 times.
And Nicholas Singleton. Penn State on the ground today.
Remember the name Nicholas Singleton? This guy's going to be a superstar. He's a true freshman. And the key for Penn State this year, they finally have got back to running the football. 245 total rushing yards in this one.
That kid is low and fast. It was all Nittany Lions, 41-12.
With direct.
And here come your Fighting Tigers of LSU.
You're watching the Mercedes-Benz Halftime Report.
It is the Mercedes-Benz Halftime Report. BYU and Oregon out west today. Gentlemen, we got good Bo Nix.
Yeah, they only threw it deep twice in this game, but Bo Nix hit both of them. Really nice catch here by Troy Franklin.
Whole commercial break, you guys couldn't figure out who was going first.
No, we're just laughing about what's going on in our control room.
Over there.
Terrence Ferguson, 15-yard score.
You want to go again, Palmer?
No, I'll take it.
Oregon up 24-7. Oregon, look, this was a bit of a surprise.
I think BYU coming off of the game last week against Baylor, didn't look like they were up for this game against Oregon.
41-20, Oregon gets the win to move to 2-1 on the season. Oklahoma and Nebraska, these two teams have met as top 5 teams 8 times. Today, not one of them. Nebraska up 7-0, then Dylan Gabriel and Oklahoma never looked back.
Normally, Dylan Gabriel has just enough speed to make you want to respect him, but I've never seen him gash a defense like this. That's bad by Nebraska.
So 7-7, that ties it, and the Sooners' offense, Joe, was just, I mean, they're throwing double passes up 21-7.
Yeah, you wonder if they want to take this play back. They wasted a trick play, a double pass, and clearly they did not need it to beat Nebraska.
Virtual lock win #1 for Joseph Galloway this year.
580 total yards for the Sooners, and they had tremendous balance throwing it and running it.
Halftime, LSU, Mississippi State. Will Rogers slinging it early. They're going to hold on to it in Baton Rouge right now, 13-7 at the half.
Uh-oh, the magic's disappearing. Hearts, stars, and horseshoes, clovers, and blue.
Thinking. Mississippi State University, taking care of what matters.
This halftime report is presented by Mercedes-Benz.
As as always, Jesse Palmer, Joey Galloway, Matt Berry. Did you miss us? Time now for That's a Dollar.
Actually sold it. The fact that he went down on his chest.
That is $1. Best part of the program. Time for helmet stickers. No better way to end your Saturday than with college football final. Monday night doubleheader. Titans-Bills, 7:15, ESPN, ESPN2. Then we're going to kick another game at 8:30 on ABC, Vikings and Eagles. Time now to your road to a championship, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Blake Corum, 5 touchdowns, tied for most rushing touchdowns in a game in program history.
Yeah, we're talking a lot about J.J. McCarthy taking over at quarterback for Michigan, but really it all starts and ends with number 2 in the backfield, one of the most explosive backs in college football.
Michigan shuts out UConn 59-0. We've got a second half coming up in Baton Rouge. Jess, give me a key.
Who can convert third downs? Both teams now combined 1 for 12. Which offense can stay on the field and score points?
Calling Baton Rouge, second half after this.
How does Popeye's chicken sandwich get so crunchy, juicy, and tasty? We make everything with love.
Premium, pre-owned, pre-auction clearance, and we do it the right way, your way, every day. Toyota Slidell.
ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Subway. Joe Tessitore, Greg McElroy, Katie George with you as Mississippi State has a 13-7 advantage at the half over LSU. Matt House, Zach Arnett. Those are the 2 defensive coordinators in this game. I think both guys have been sharp tonight.
Yeah, understatement.
Yeah.
And they have mixed looks. They've mixed pressures. Both quarterbacks have had their moments. Both offenses, frankly, have had their moments. But for the most part, man, the defense has been a step or 2 ahead all night long. Neither quarterback at any point felt like they were in a great rhythm, with the exception of Will Rogers at the very beginning, and then in the end when Jayden Daniels started to get going.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels brought them down the field quickly and then went to Dre Jenkins for an 8-yard touchdown. That made it 13-7. Remember, LSU took the ball to start the game after winning the toss, so Mississippi State will start this second half with the ball.
And this is so nice from Will Rogers. He is so dialed in when he anticipates these throws. Like right here, the defender is on top and the wide receiver looks back so he can locate the football. The defender cannot. Where do you throw it? Right behind his ear. Just a thing of beauty. Similar on the touchdown. Overload pressure. Have an unblocked defender, Greg Brooks, right in his face. Will Rogers lofts it with enough air to allow Ra Thomas to reel it in there for the touchdown. So he's been very good with anticipating his throws. It's going to be difficult for him to continue some of that momentum because it felt like this LSU pass rush is starting to come alive.
Ra Thomas with that touchdown, one of his 3 catches so far tonight. Rogers gets it out quickly and gets it complete for a first down as he goes to Jaden Walley.
Well, Greg Rogers told me it takes a lot of trust and familiarity with your receivers. You got to know where guys are going and when they're going to get there. He's worked hard at establishing both of those things. He said it was unnerving early on. I mean, Greg, just how hard is it to get there as a young quarterback trying to develop?
Oh, and this offense, too. I mean, it's so much about feel and rhythm and understanding and being able to get through your progressions.
After the 11-yard completion, first down, Rogers, play action, coming back for the ball, but unable to secure it, was ducking.
And I think when you look back at what Mike Leach has done traditionally, back to Texas Tech, you're in the system for 2 or 3 years. For a while there, he was starting 5th-year seniors. Sonny Cumbie, who's now the head coach at Louisiana Tech, B.J. Simmons. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury was there for 3, and Graham Harrell was there for 3. Taylor Potts was there for 2. I mean, they have definitely erred on the side of starting veteran guys. But the fact Will Rogers got the nod as a freshman, look at what he's doing now, really grown within the offense.
Leach had never started a true freshman quarterback. Goes to Johnson out of the backfield, and Johnson will get it to the 44-yard line, cut down by Harold Perkins.
Even if you go back to Leach's time at Washington State, I mean, Luke Falk, Gardner Minshew was a 1-year guy who came over late in his career. So normally it takes time to really get comfortable feeling the space, feeling the rhythm, making sure your feet are talking to you. To be honest with you, even though he's been around for 3 years, still a relatively young player, has plenty of time to continue to grow, and the sky's the limit.
There's a big Gardner Minshew connection with Will Rogers. Third down and 2. A lot of pressure, but unable able to secure it was Thomas. Thomas should have had it, could have had a big gainer. And it's another 4th down for Mississippi State and Mike Leach. He's going to send the punt team out there. But you mentioned Minshew. And the backstory on Rodgers, his father, a coach, was the offensive coordinator, same high school with Gardner Minshew.
And just a thing of beauty right here, as you're going to see come inside. A couple of guys working to the left, defenders all the way to the left, blown coverage defensively, and the ball is just dropped. Cannot drop that. That's a massive play left on the field by Mississippi State.
Archer Trafford on to punt. Holds on to it, allows that coverage unit to get downfield, then sends a knuckler that takes a great bounce for Mississippi State inside the 15. So Eric Mealy, the special teams coordinator's got to like that.
Jayden Daniels really settled in as the game went along. Early on, pressure, didn't do a great job of staying patient in the pocket. Felt guys collapsing all around him, so was quick to escape and hasn't really had many opportunities to find his guys downfield. But as the protection got a little bit better in the 2-minute drive, he started to come alive. And if you talk to Brian Kelly, you talk to the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, this is a young man that plays much better when they're playing fast, when they're playing with tempo, and when they're playing with urgency. Let's see if they start this half playing with the similar urgency that they played with in the 2-minute drill to end the half.
Daniels, as he gets a Goodwin, and Goodwin's going to have a 1st down for LSU. Let's see if they get to the line and create some of that tempo for Daniels. Watch the play clock. Remember, he said, listen, if he snaps it, the earlier he snaps it, the better.
There's the play clock right here. Anytime that's snapped under 15 seconds, that's when Daniels has been a little bit more average.
Goodwin barrels ahead to the 30-yard line. Remember, the last LSU drive started at the 14-yard line. 87 yards, had a touchdown there. Last time we saw them against Florida State was that dramatic. Carter.
I think, too, this offensive line, they're going against veteran guys that are 4th-year, 5th-year players. You got 2 true freshmen to tackle. You can take some of the pressure off them by utilizing tempo as well.
2nd and 7. There's Neighbors, and Neighbors splits defenders and kept his balance. Flag is down, but you see the quick burst by Malik Neighbors. He goes ahead for 17 yards. We'll check on the flag.
During the run, personal foul, face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
That's the first penalty of the game on Mississippi State.
And a great job here. This has been kind of the Achilles heel to Mississippi State over the last couple of years. Some of these perimeter throws, forcing their big physical bodies at the 2nd level to run sideline to sideline. A good job there on the perimeter, blocking there by the freshman Mason Taylor, number 86.
And you blink and all of a sudden LSU's on Mississippi State's 38. Daniels is going to keep. He's going to shuffle, and he's going to dive ahead for a gain of 9.
Daniels, even though he's a big, long, tall strider, still has a little shimmy, too, as you see Mike Denbrock in a nice rhythm here to start the 2nd half. Getting his quarterback started and a couple playmakers involved. Here comes pressure from Mississippi State off the left side. Look at how flat top defensively. That's an indicator of 0 pressure.
2nd and 1. That's a pitch and catch all too easy to Keishawn Booty. And a 1st down for LSU. And look at BK saying, let's go. Let's get some tempo. Let's get to the line. Keep this rhythm going. John Emery now in at running back. Off that lengthy suspension. The academic issues. He's anxious to get back in there. Malik Neighbors, number 2 receiver on top, waving to Daniels, saying, look at me, I got this. Instead, they go shallow underneath, but he threw it behind Mason Taylor. Remember what we said about the play clock. If it goes under 15, too much time to freak about it. That was one of those scenarios there. Race to the line, and then overlook the defense for a long time.
And another zone coverage there for Mississippi State. It felt like maybe Taylor, the freshman, should have settled down and kind of sit down there. That's what it looked like Daniels was expecting from him. Instead, Taylor kept running.
2nd and 10. Incomplete, was trying to get to Mason Taylor, the true freshman tight end. It's going to be 3rd and long.
It'll be interesting here, as you can see on 3rd down. LSU has had their fair share of troubles tonight. Be interesting to see what Zach Arnett decides to dial up. It's no secret LSU's field goal protection has been challenged at times early in this season. Do they see if they can't come after the quarterback, see if they can't knock him out of field goal range or make the field goal much more difficult?
3rd down and 10. In the red zone for LSU. Can they take advantage? Daniels, incomplete, looking for Booty. Now, you mentioned the field goal unit, and they're coming on to try to close this to a 3-point game.
Man, this is here. I mean, he's got Neighbors working around the edge right there. He's wide open in the back of the end zone. He instead decides to go to Booty on the right side. Man, if he sees that safety over the top, Neighbors is the throw, and I think he has a touchdown if he looks in the direction of the sophomore wide receiver.
They have a new left side of the line. More veterans in there compared to what happened against Florida State. And with that protection, you're able to get a clean operation. And Ramos puts it through from 35 yards out. And we just have a field goal margin here at Tiger Stadium. Special teams coordinator Brian Polian. Extra Yard for Teachers, an annual back-to-school effort led by the College Football Playoff Foundation. Brings college sports together, recognize and show appreciation to great teachers across the country. Hey, if you want to support Extra Yard for Teachers, and we encourage you to, you can follow at CFP Extra Yard or scan the QR code for more. Got a 13-10 game after Ramos had the 35-yard field goal for LSU. First 6 drives, went 5 punts and a fumble. Last 3 Giants, you got the touchdown, kneel to the half, and now a field goal. Tulu Griffin on the return. He's a speedster. And that's a good return for Mississippi State.
Teaching has been ingrained in Polian's family for decades, guys. Before his father, Bill Polian, became a legendary NFL executive, he was a high school history teacher. That foundation in the classroom led to success in front offices. His 3 sons followed him into the world of football, while his daughter, Lynn, became an educator. She has dedicated over 30 years of her life to education. She currently teaches kindergarten through 3rd grade at St. Matthew Catholic School in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you, Lynn, for all that you do.
You know, it's interesting because obviously week 1 was just not the finish you ever want to have when you're a special teams coordinator. The game gets lost because of the PIT block. But we sat with Brian Polian, and he said we went into the room the next day and we took the approach of we attack problems, not people. Let's just fix the situation, and they have done that. Woody Marks, he is wrapped up by Greg Penn. And it's time for the team leading total tackles.
There haven't been many chances for Penn tonight. He's more of your run-stopping thumper. It's been more Harold Perkins, the freshman, and Micah Baskerville, who are really the more rangy, more athletic guys that are better against pass coverage. But clearly, with Mississippi State's willingness to run the football, it's not going to kill you to have 2 great run-stopping linebackers, and Mike Jones and Greg Penn on the field at the same time.
Perkins and Baskerville given that speed, and they have had some good moments tonight as well. 2nd and 8. Rogers incomplete as he threw it behind the intended target. He was trying to hook up with Rufus Harvey.
Rogers so far in this half just a little bit off the mark. Did have the drop, but it was thrown just slightly off target on the previous 3rd down. It'll be interesting to see what Matt House, the defensive coordinator, decides to do here. They've had success playing some man coverage. Let's see if they get some man coverage here again with that talented secondary.
3rd and 8.
Keep an eye on number 42. It's Harold Perkins. He's at the end of the line of scrimmage. He's right here. Keep an eye on him as he rushes the passer on the left-hand side.
3rd and 8, no problem, as Thomas is on the receiving end again. 24 yards and a first down for Mississippi State.
Just a great job here by Will Rogers on the anticipation. Watch as he releases the football. Look at where his wide receivers release. He's not even out of the break just yet. And that ball is already en route. You can't cover it. Speed out on time is uncoverable. Just great pitch and catch there from Mississippi State's offense.
Colby Richardson found that out, the corner for LSU. Rogers, first down. And once again, couldn't connect with Harvey over the middle. Coverage was there by Major Burns, where he had a big tackle for loss on 4th down earlier tonight.
This two-back set for Mississippi State. Two backs splitting. Will Rogers has been something they've run the ball out of in the past, and it also helps you out in protection as well, because now the defense doesn't know which side to blitz you to.
2nd and 10. Very catchable ball and good balance on the sideline from Thomas. And now they're saying incomplete. He had stepped out before he was able to catch that ball, so it'll be 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and gets forced out. You can come back and reestablish yourself in bounds, but he wasn't at that point. As you can see, the ball is caught. Does he ever reestablish himself? I think the answer is no.
3rd down. First time he got back in was catching the ball. They're going to review that. That previous play that they ruled incomplete to Thomas as he went out of bounds. And as they take a look at this, we will take a short break and get back to what will be a 3rd and 10 from Tiger Stadium. And we'll see Max Johnson at quarterback for A&M tonight. And they confirm the ruling as we expected them to do, Greg.
Yeah, and it's, you see the right heel here. It's still on the line right there, or so it appears, right there as he secures the catch. So it was a great effort. Actually, much closer than I originally thought. But the right heel never gets back into the field of play, and as you can see, it slides in late. But a good call there and a good job by the replay official making the correct decision.
3rd and 10 because of that, as the crowd gets loud here at Tiger Stadium. Rogers on 3rd and 10 goes for an inside screen to Griffin, and Griffin is wrestled back by Jay Ward.
And what beats pressures? Screens. That's exactly what they did right here. A great job taking advantage of the pressure. A good job, too, there by the left tackle, Johnson, getting out in front, getting a piece of the defender. Just really nicely done. If they're going to blitz you, the best way to take advantage of the blitz is by throwing a screen right in behind their ear. Good call there by Mike Leach.
Sure was. 14 yards and a first down. Short pitch, and cut down was Dylan Johnson, and that was Ward again.
So far, really after the first few possessions, LSU clearly got an earful from their defense coordinator, Matt House, more than likely. is they've been much better against the run. With the exception of a couple on the perimeter, they've done a pretty good job all night long of making sure that they drop those excellent running backs at the spot when they make first contact.
Last 3 years, House was the linebacker coach for the Kansas City Chiefs. Does have SEC experience, having been at Kentucky as the DC before. 2nd and 11, short pitch, other side. Woody Marks, not much there at all. Micah Baskerville and Harold Perkins with the tackle. 3rd down again for the Bulldogs.
Really been working the inside part of this defense, partly because they're taking advantage of pressure. Let's see if they continue to pound the inside against the man coverage that LSU is going to give them. Let's see if they can thread one right over the middle.
Sacked, Ojulari. 4th sack of the night for the Tigers.
This is just a great pass rush. You can see Ojulari start to the outside, get Jones going, and then beat him back inside. And it just takes way too long to develop the route tree as Ojulari is all over it immediately. Just a great pass rush there as they slid him inside to get a favorable matchup, and he drops the quarterback to force the kick.
Van Raybon missed an extra point earlier tonight, and his field goal attempt goes right through from 45 yards out. He puts it through to give Mississippi State a 6-point lead on the road here in Baton Rouge.
Sunday Night Baseball, Sundays at 7 on ESPN.
Only at your Southern Quality Ford dealer.
Look at that sky here at Tiger Stadium. Isn't that something? Hey, coming up tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown. Going to go one-on-one with Matthew Stafford. Randy Moss, of course, talking about the best catches from college football today. NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. 16-10, Mississippi State. LSU head coach Brian Kelly, his first SEC game.
Good start to the half for Jayden Daniels, getting into a nice rhythm. Clearly they tried to utilize a little tempo, carry over that some momentum that they picked up there with the 2-minute operation there down the stretch. Nice answer there from Will Rogers and the Mississippi State offense. So going to be important here to continue with that urgency. I'm very impressed with Jayden Daniels when they're playing and operating with that 2-minute type of mentality.
Daniels, as he goes to Emery. Emery reaches out to the 30-yard line.
Still been relatively quiet. Tayshaun Boutte, I feel like done a pretty good job of bottling him up, and at some point he's going to break free. He's got to take advantage of a one-on-one.
3 catches for 31 yards to this point. 2nd and 5. Daniels, just at the last second, he's able to throw it over to Thomas, and Thomas will have a first down and more. 15 yards.
How about this, though? The grabbing the shirt. I don't know if I've ever seen it quite like that. That's 5 yards of stretch.
Emmanuel Forbes got himself a souvenir. That undershirt a little shorter now. First down at the 45. Daniels is thinking about launching it and then checks down, and that goes for a first down to Mason Taylor. I wonder if he was out of bounds or saying incomplete.
Obviously, you see the hat there on the field. That means that Taylor stepped out of bounds.
That's right.
The receiver did not establish himself back in bounds. Second down.
Good job there.
You saw that right leg and that right foot that was on the white.
And you see the reaction by the Mississippi State sideline, too. They all saw it clear as day.
Second and 10, and getting in and getting free was Buki Watson with the sack of Daniels. That's their third tonight.
And this is amazing right here. He's supposed to chip right here, and it's really supposed to happen for Jet Johnson in the back end. But they don't pass it off right. Watson just kind of falls into it and drops Daniels for the loss. Just an excellent job there, taking advantage of a bust up front by LSU's offensive line.
3rd and 16 after the sack. A shallow crosser goes to the freshman tight end, who's only able to spin free to midfield. That's Mason Taylor, the true freshman from South Florida, the son of the legendary NFL sack artist and Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. Jackie Matthews with the tackle. And this is 4th and 4. Offense stays on the field. Bully's all cranked up for his defense.
For LSU, I would strongly encourage at least attempting a hard count. See if you can't get him to jump off sides, give you a free play. Maybe get the first down just on the penalty alone.
4th down and 4, they're going for it. Sprint left, looking back across the grain and incomplete as he was trying to get it to Malik Neighbors. And it's a turnover on downs.
This is a difficult throw that Jayden Daniels is trying to make. And if you look at Brian Kelly, he's probably telling him, man, you just tried a very low percentage throw when you had Brian Thomas with enough to gain. As you can see, Kelly very frustrated. He had 2 guys underneath that were open. If you paint it right here, you see Brian Thomas, number 11's reaction. If you paint it right on his outside shoulder, he's going to fall forward for the first time. You got to understand how many yards you need to pick it up. Right there, a low percentage throw, not the best option.
Pitch to Johnson. And Johnson is driven down. That was Savion Jones getting on top of him, as well as Micah Baskerville underneath with the tackle. So we've had 4th downs attempted tonight, but we've only had 1 converted. It was the first one of the night. Mississippi State on their first possession went for it from their own 22. These teams have combined to go 1 of 4 on 4th down tonight.
It's really been a lack of execution and guys just missing the mark.
2nd and 6. Rogers incomplete. It's good coverage by Major Burns. Katie.
Well, guys, it's worth mentioning Will Rogers took a big hit on the sack in the last series. He came over to the sideline. He took some time to visit with Mike Leach, explaining, look, I just didn't have enough time to get rid of it. He walked down, jacked up his offensive lineman, and then he got on the bike trying to work through some things. So visibly shaking up a little bit, but this kid, he's got the mentality for this.
Now Katie facing the roar of Tiger Stadium on a 3rd and 6. Edge pressure, but quickly getting rid of it. It's going to be short of the line to gain as he goes to Wally, and we will have another 4th down for Mike Leach to deal with. Oops, there defensively.
You're going to go for it on your own 22 with 11 minutes in the first quarter. You're going to go for it here. Good job throwing into the pressure. They have really stacked the box, LSU has defensively, in these short yardage situations. We said earlier, if they would just do a zone read, pull it by the quarterback, see if he can pick it up with his legs, I think it'd be really effective, especially looking at what looks like man coverage right now from LSU defensively.
See Matt House, the DC, with his arms folded. Can his defense get another stop on 4th and 1? Or does State have it? What they have right now is a timeout. As that play clock was counting down, 2:20 to go here in the third quarter, and that gives us the chance to go to the studio. And Matt, what do you got, my man?
Guys, I should probably point out that Bobby Petrino is back in Fayetteville on family night, and his Missouri State team is up 17-7 on Woo Pig after that Jason Chili touchdown. That made it 17-0 at the point. Arkansas scored since.
And a reminder that Arkansas, this could be a look-ahead kind of week because they are going down to AT&T Stadium next week for a showdown against Texas A&M. And speaking of Texas A&M, of course, they are coming up next, trying to bounce back after the loss to App State. And they get Tyler Van Dyke and the talented Canes. Number 13, Miami. Number 24, Texas A&M. Coming up next, we got a 4th and 1 again, Greg.
Right here, LSU is really sold out against the run. So if I'm Mississippi State, I'm faking it inside. I'm allowing this guy to crash, and then I might get Will Rogers out around the edge. Zone read.
4th and 1. Rogers to pass, and it's incomplete. That was Jay Ward breaking on it, and it's another turnover on downs. The Tigers defense does it again.
That's a great job here by Matt House. They showed man coverage before the timeout. What do they give you after the timeout zone? They drop out underneath it. 2 defenders' eyes are right at the quarterback. They collapse right underneath on top of it. And there's absolutely nowhere to go with the football. That's just a great job of showing one thing and then making a massive shift philosophically there during the timeout and getting into a zone. I think Leach was anticipating man, called a man beater. The zone wasn't going to happen.
Daniels. This is complete to Jenkins, Trey Jenkins, who had the 8-yard touchdown earlier for the Tigers. Now a big opportunity for LSU with momentum. Trailing by 6 at home. Quick to the line is Daniels. That's when he's at his best.
At some point, you got to throw it over this Mississippi State defense's head. Double move down the field.
He keeps, and he's taken down by Jet Johnson. That's a heck of a play by Johnson. He's the guy who's played the most snaps for this defense.
He's the heart and soul of this defense. Really does a great job of setting the tone and playing his fundamentals. He slid, kept his shoulders square, and dropped Daniels for the loss on the zone read. Excellent technique there by the linebacker.
Second and 12. Goodwin picked up the A-gap pressure. Daniels coverage downfield, so he didn't have anywhere to go for it. It's going to be 3rd and long.
Well, Zach Arnett eloquently put it like this, guys. Jet Johnson is not going to be an underwear Olympics workout warrior, meaning he's not going to wow you at the NFL Combine, but this kid makes play after play. You go back and you watch the tape, he's always around the football. That's what you need in the linebacker.
Yeah, he is extremely dependable and does an amazing job. It's a very complex defense. His ability to communicate makes everyone on the field better.
Now that defense with a chance to get off the field. And as you see the timeout being called by Jayden Daniels. That's the first that they're using here in the second half. Things are heating up a little bit here in Tiger Stadium. I want to go back as we sit here with LSU trailing by 6 points. The comment you made earlier tonight, because I think the perception is, hey, Brian Kelly comes in here with a $100 million 10-year contract, right? And you go out and you lose the heartbreaker late in Florida State. All the pressure to come here in your SEC opener and win, trailing by 6. Now you said, no. This is an upcycle for Mississippi State.
Right.
Pressure's actually on them.
That's the way I see it. Yeah. I mean, LSU expectations are always going to be high, right? It's LSU.
It's LSU.
You know, if you don't win the championship, it's awful, right? It's a terrible season. No, in all seriousness, though, this is the year that Mississippi State has been building towards.
Yeah, got the veterans.
You got the veterans on defense. You have the system in place offensively. You have really talented playmakers on the perimeter at wide receiver, and you have depth at wide receiver that you haven't had in the past. So this is really the year that it feels like Mississippi State could push through and push to a 10-win season potentially. You got to get one here if you're going to try to get to that plateau.
3rd and 12. I'm out. They go underneath. And good pursuit to the ball to wrap up Jayden Jenkins.
He just went for it a second ago in a similar spot. This time it doesn't appear as though that's going to be the case. Just a few too many yards to gain. As opposed to 4th and 5, 4th and 9. A little too much for the LSU Tigers. Good job defensively there by Mississippi State.
And Bramlett goes out. Williams is inside his 10. Bramlett's going to try to pin him here. This is their 6th punt of the night. Reverse rotation. Oh, and it's muffed! And the Tigers got it! Oh, the sweet irony! They gave it up 2 times on muff punts to Florida State week 1 when they couldn't afford to. And now right here, right now, it goes the other way. That was Slade Roy, who's the long snapper, getting downfield and recovering that. The sophomore who transferred in from East Carolina comes up big.
Just misplayed there by Williams. Of course, so reliable, 6th-year player. And the ball just dies. He thinks he's going to come right into his breadbasket. Goes a little bit short. And a great job there by Roy, hopping on it quickly. What a mistake from Mississippi State.
And now LSU, and as the flags come in pre-snap, they don't consider it.
False start. Offense, number 69, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Austin Williams, who is back to return that punt, he is so sure-handed. He's one of the most veteran receivers in all of college football, has the trust of everybody on this team. And now we have the turnover here with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. Is this the swing moment LSU's been sitting on?
Absolutely have to punch it in for 6 here. If you settle for a field goal, that Mississippi State defense is going to run off the field with high fives and chest bumps. So after the sudden change, you have to turn it into 6 if you're LSU's offense.
First and goal from the 14. Goodwin on a late drive to the 10-yard line, wrapped up by Richardson. Long snapper comes up with the recovery, and he's right back to work. End of the 3rd quarter, and this place is buzzing. Just enough, believing, just enough, and hoping that 10 yards from now, they'll be in position to take the lead when we start the 4th quarter. This is pure hustle. Bramlett punts it away, and watch Slade Roy, the long snapper, sitting right on top of Austin Williams, saying, "Thank you, I will gladly take that for the Tigers." End of 3.
Stuff. Arby's is now officially a fusion restaurant. Chef Smooch. Arby's, we have the meats.
Now, this is what we live for. This right here. You're watching the SEC on ESPN with a roaring Tiger Stadium. I mean, college rules, doesn't it? I love you, boys. That's what he's saying. There's a grad student with a master's in overalls, Greg McElroy. Look at my man.
Big day for a lot of folks here in Baton Rouge. Been fun.
We're going to start the 4th quarter with this off the muff punt. 2nd and goal. Tigers, prime position. Can they cash in? Jayden Daniels with time, spins out of it. Gonna try to do it with his legs. Inside the 5, it'll be 3rd and goal from about 3 yards out. Emmanuel Forbes had to chop him down.
Good pursuit there from Mississippi State. Excellent job closing the distance. As soon as Daniels put that ball up into his arm, you knew he was a runner at that point, and they closed. Now, if I'm Mike Denbrock, the offensive coordinator, I'm anticipating pressure from Mississippi State. They're going to bring the heat. Get your quarterback, who's athletic, out to the right to his throwing arm. See if you can't get a guy on the move.
Butte in motion. 3rd and goal. Looks that way. Then goes straight ahead, and he's in! Jayden Daniels! Flag is down at the end of the play, maybe after the touchdown, but this place is roaring after that. Ramos for the lead. That's how you do it. Their first lead of the night. And what a difference a few weeks makes for special teams coordinator Brian Polian and these Tigers.
When safe drivers save up to 30% on their auto insurance for not answering their phone while driving, they feel like a pretty big deal.
190 in Covington.
Matt Berry back at our college football studio. I want to give you a couple of Big Ten updates. Not a surprise here. Ohio State having their way with Toledo, 42-14. That Julian Fleming 11-yard touchdown. Bad one for the Big Ten out west. Washington all over Sparty, 16-0 with 9 minutes left in the second on ABC.
Thank you, Matt. And we've got a good one here in the 4th quarter. 17-16. LSU just took the lead on Jayden Daniels' touchdown run. And Greg, that touchdown run was their first 3rd down conversion of the night. They were 0 for 8 prior to that. Coming together moment is presented by Verbo.
All right, the offensive play was a little pick route into the flat. Little rub route if you're an offensive player. They're trying to get Booty right down here in the flat. However, you're going to see 2 defenders stay way too wide for Mississippi State. Watson stays way too wide. As you can see, Daniels sees the Red Sea depart. He goes north and south and is very decisive as he puts that back foot in the ground. As you see, Slade Roy, the long snapper who recovered the muffed punt to set up the LSU Tigers in the scoring zone. Just great job there by Jayden Daniels.
Will Rogers in State with a man in his face, and Woody Marks can go nowhere. That was Greg Brooks coming up defensively.
Nice job there by Greg Brooks. Coming up, wrapping up. This LSU team, for the most part, has done a really good job tackling tonight. They've allowed a couple big runs, but that's to be expected against these excellent backs. But most of the time, they've kept them, for the most part, bottled up.
And that's Woody Marks, who is still down, and the medical team is out to see him. He's been such a steady, productive player, especially a receiving back in Mike Leach's offense. As they are looking at his left ankle, and with that, we will take a short break and come back to a roaring Tiger Stadium.
The new Subway Series menu, the greatest sandwich roster ever assembled.
For more on the new boss, here's Patrick Mahomes.
ESPN College Football Primetime is presented by Subway. Try the all-new Subway Series menu. Your pick of 12 irresistible subs.
And through the years, for one of the best this generation, Brian Kelly, 3-time Home Depot Coach of the Year award winner. And now his first SEC game, and it's a tight one. First 3 games at his stops. Cincy, he went 3-0, trying to be 2-1 tonight here at LSU. And Notre Dame at Central Michigan, where he had great success, 1-2 in his first 3 games. Will Rogers on second down, almost got sacked, but smartly gets it to Dylan Johnson. He had a man in his face. It was Ojulari again, but somehow Rogers was able to get it free. What a great play there to keep it alive, and it goes for 5 yards.
A great job feeling that pressure off the right side. Ojulari won clean around the edge against Jones. But knowing where your outlet is, that's where you are. In the 3rd year in the system, you know where all your answers are. If a guy gets beat, fine. Find your outlet, live to play 3rd down.
Got a 250-pound human missile right in your face. 3rd and 4. Rogers. Incomplete as he threw it to the inside of Caleb Ducking, and Garner was there with coverage. 4th down for Mike Leach. And they're going to send down the punt team.
The ball was just a little bit off the mark. I mean, Ducking's getting outside release, trying to run the stop route, and the ball's thrown upfield. It's rare when these guys miss. I don't know if Ducking was maybe a little bit too short on his route, or Will Rogers just missed him too far to his left. But either way, it's an inaccurate pitch etch there. Very uncharacteristic of this Mississippi State offense.
Their first 3 and out, Greg. First 3 and out for Mississippi State. Comes here in the 4th quarter, trailing by 1. George Opolis to punt. Nose down, knuckler, sidewinder. And Clayton just making it clean, securing that ball. Let's go to Matt in the studio.
All right, Tess, as we approach 9 o'clock, we do want to let the Texas A&M Miami audience know we're going to start that game on ESPN News. Mac Johnson set to start for the Aggies. Clemson over on the ACC Network. And Michigan State having a problem with Washington on ABC.
Yeah, Washington up 22-0. Remember, as soon as we're finished up here in Baton Rouge, we will get you to the Canes and the Aggies. Chris and Kirk will have the call there. We got a flag down at the end of this punt, and it'll be marked off against LSU. So this drive will begin at the 15-yard line. Jayden Daniels, who moments ago was able to run it in from 3 yards out, and then the extra point by Ramos as LSU up 17-16. Mississippi State missed an extra point to start the game. And that is the difference right now. Missed extra point and a muff punt for Mississippi State. Special teams miscues costing them. Emery trying to find anything. And gets that push behind that new offensive line. Katie.
After Jayden Daniels rushing TD, guys, he got a little banged up. He had a cut on the left eye. He came over to the sidelines. They addressed it. He was using an ice pack here, as you can see. Brian Kelly did check on him. Once he said he was good to go, I think Brian Kelly was a little underwhelmed by the size of the.
I got to get my man Stitch Duran to work the corner of Jayden Daniels. 2nd and 6. He's way off the mark, looking for Keishawn Boutte.
Right there, just off the mark. As you can see, Brian Kelly airing his frustration, trying to get his quarterback going a little bit, just a little off the mark. It looks like he was expecting it to go over the top as opposed to on the back shoulder. Big 3rd down here for Mississippi State's defense.
3rd and 6. Daniels, easy pitch and catch to Neighbors for a 1st down.
So far tonight, Zach Arnett's done a great job of mixing his looks. You see the overload pressure to the left, perfect. Roll the quarterback to the right, no problem whatsoever. Nice easy pitch and catch at the sticks, and an easy conversion there for LSU. Good play call from offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock.
trying to get it to Mason Taylor, and that's incomplete. Jim Brock says he's got a lot of faith in Jayden Daniels. Loves the way he came into the program, the way he's been going about his business in these first 3 weeks. Emery's 6th carry of the night as he surges ahead. It'll be a 3rd and short as he gets to the 37-yard line.
And the run game, this traditional run game tonight, has not really been there for LSU. They have decent rushing production, but most of that's been off scramble drill when Jayden Daniels decided to escape the pocket and create on his own. So here, they opt to hand it again to Emery, who's back after the 2-game suspension and after missing all of 2021.
3rd and 2. And Daniels has 77 yards rushing. Emery has 19. Daniels. Again, he goes to Neighbors for a 1st down. So after going 0 for 8 on 3rd downs, LSU has now converted their last 3.
And a nice job here. You got pressure coming this way. You just have a quick little out route to the outside. Just beating the pressures. When you have guys bringing the heat, you have to beat them with the throw every once in a while. And when you could find favorable leverage, which they did right there, inside leverage working against an outside breaking route, you're going to be able to convert that every time. Great job the last couple sequences on 3rd down, like you alluded to, Tess, for the LSU Tigers.
Daniels quick to run this time, and it's a good one. As he goes ahead, made that dive ahead, crossing midfield to the 46-yard line. A golden band from Tigerland. A lot more to play for here in the 4th quarter. 1-point lead. 2nd and 4.
The aggressive defensive alignment from Mississippi State. Go heavy play action, maybe throw it over their head.
2nd and 4. Keep it on the ground. Not much there for John Emery. It'll be a 3rd down for Zach Arnett. Look at his intensity. Think of defense with Mississippi State, but quietly this defense has been among the SEC's best statistically for the last couple of years.
So far on 3rd down, Neighbors has been their guy. You can see here, done a pretty good job bottling up Booty all night long. Let's see if they can find Neighbors again. It's been the hot hand in 3rd down situations.
Number 2 receiver, bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 3. Pressure from Johnson is picked up. And again they go to Neighbors, Greg. 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive.
And a nice catch here by Neighbors. Ball thrown just a touch high. He goes up. Good break defensively, but he gets the 1st down because of the depth that he got initially as he broke forward. They have continued to attack that inside leverage from Mississippi State until Mississippi State adjusts. I wouldn't call anything else on 3rd down.
10th play of the drive. Daniels wants more. Thrown to the outside of Keyshawn. Coverage came from Forbes. Reminder, we're getting underway with Miami and Texas A&M, and we'll get you immediately there. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. Mac Johnson, starting quarterback for A&M. He was here, of course, at LSU. But now it's all about Jayden Daniels and this version of the Tigers. Daniels had the touchdown run earlier in this quarter to give him a 1-point lead. And he'll be facing a 3rd and 10. He's looking for Kyron Lacey.
Brian Kelly is really adamant about the location of the throw. They've tried to throw that back shoulder a couple times now, and Daniels just been off the mark. You see Brian Kelly put his hands up right there on the right side, the right pec, right shoulder. That's where that ball has to go, and the accuracy on some of those downfields just hasn't been tight enough for Daniels. They've got to work on that as they move forward.
Kelly always works very closely with his quarterbacks through the years. 3rd and 10, they're going to swing it around off the orbit motion. Josh Williams. Oh, he gave a little and stayed up, but then a rally to the football by the rest of the Bulldogs defense. As the ball came out at the end, they're claiming their habit, but he's being ruled down as that clock continues to wind down. Under 8 minutes now.
Tell you what, Colin Duncan, number 19, he got an awful lot on this play. One, he absorbs the initial hit. Then his own buddy trucks him as he tries to pick up the fumble. Duncan delivers a big hit. Watch it right here. Number 19 on the right side. Here he comes flying in. Boom! There he is.
4th down and 3. And a timeout is going to be called by Mike Leach. 4th and 3. 7.5 to go in the game. 1-point margin. Prime time in the SEC. Don't you just love it?
Las Vegas versus Connecticut, Game 4, tomorrow at 4 on ESPN.
ESPN College Football Primetime presented by Subway at one of the grand cathedrals of the sport, Tiger Stadium. This is moments ago, Greg.
And they swing it around, and they ruled forward progress was stopped at that point right there. Mike Leach and the Mississippi State Bulldogs sideline really wanted a review. They wanted to take a peek at whether or not it was a fumble. The ball came out, but it was difficult to tell. But either way, they had ruled forward progress had stopped, which sets up 4th down.
Here we go. 4th down and 3. 1-point lead, LSU. Daniels motions Taylor. Williams in the backfield. 4th and 3. Gonna loft it downfield. Neighbors again. Goes up and gets it. It's been a dynamic combination for the Tigers. Daniels to Neighbors. 1st down, LSU. And it is a 1st and goal.
And they have been absolutely killing them on the out route. Well, this time they decide to break it out, win to the outside, and go with a slot fade. And a good job there by Jayden Daniels giving his wide receiver an opportunity to go up and make a play. Sometimes you'll see guys overshoot him. No, let your guy go up and high point it. He does. And Neighbors has been the answer to the 3rd down and 4th down woes.
1st and goal. Williams. Williams driving ahead. Reaching for the goal line. And they're saying touchdown. Touchdown LSU. Josh Williams.
Just a great job of continuing to drive your legs, understand exactly where you're at, be careful reaching that ball across as he just finds Forbes right there.
He turned him into a blocking sled.
And Forbes, that's a tough ask for a corner.
It sure is.
He held up pretty well, but not enough to deny Williams the opportunity to cross the goal line. What a great run there by the junior.
What a great drive by Jayden Daniels. Over 6 minutes, 14 plays in the 4th quarter, 85 yards. Everything you want from a 4th quarter drive, Jayden Daniels just delivered. And with Ramos's extra point, it's an 8-point margin. Remember the missed extra point by Mississippi State to start the game. LSU has found Uncle Mo. They got momentum, Matt Barry. What do you have?
Not as much entertainment as you have. What a game you have in Baton Rouge. Want to keep you updated on Florida taking on South Florida. Pick 6 here for the Gators. Jalen Kimber reads it well. Goes 35 yards back to the house, 24-10. Those of you waiting for A&M in Miami, it's about to start. We're going to kick it on ESPN News. We'll move it right here to ESPN when LSU goes final.
So interesting, isn't it, Greg? And if you just put your head down and focus in how things turn around. Right, a couple weeks ago, we're sitting there, and Malik Neighbors has the 2 muff punts down in New Orleans, and now you sit here tonight. He's got 6 catches for 75 yards and all these key 3rd down receptions.
And he stepped up big too, and it's nice that they've found that matchup that works for them. Now he has won a couple of plays there on the 3rd downs, just beating pressures, and they were lined up inside leverage, so it's a piece of cake. But the last one, the fade route, just a great job of going up there, grabbing the ball at its high point, converting the 4th down. I don't think anyone on this LSU staff is surprised with what they've seen tonight from Malik Neighbors. They were very, very excited about his potential coming into the season.
Place has come alive. West Tiger Rag. They got the Golden Band rocking. They got the Golden Girls pumping their arms. They got themselves an 8-point lead. Here's Griffin off the hop from the goal line. And here goes Griffin. Watch out! He can burn it. Flag is down as he's trying to take it, and he is torn down at the 11-yard line. Flag is down all the way back at the 27. It was Bernard Converse who had to hit the accelerator and track down Griffin.
During the return, holding. Return team, number 14. First down.
Bring it back. Bring it all the way back.
You're going to see right here on the right side of the screen, Nathaniel Watson, who has called the penalty, is completely unnecessary. He's 15 yards away from the possible return man. He's way over here to the right-hand side. He's way over there. And they get him on a really late hold. And it's completely unnecessary. Just a killer for the momentum. Here he is right here. Watch him. I mean, he's on the far hash, way out of there. And they call him for hooking the jersey. Just a huge, unfortunate turn there for Mississippi State.
Rogers threw it low, intended for Ra Thomas. And let me tell you, Tulu Griffin, that return man, who you also see playing receiver, he can go. I mean, he can go. Had a 100-yarder last year against NC State. Had a big bowl game. What a missed opportunity. Would have had to set up.
And they have great weapons at wide receiver. I mean, Tulu with his speed, they've come a long way at that position, and those guys need to step up now because the windows get tighter when it becomes an obvious passing situation.
3-man rush as he goes underneath the Price and can't connect there. Remember, Woody Marks, who's the reliable receiving back, was injured earlier in this second half and went to the medical tent.
That's back-to-back drop from Mississippi State intended targets. The first one a little bit low, but there, I mean, right in the breadbasket. You can't drop it if you're Price. He had plenty of room to run, too, if he secures that catch.
Oh, that's too early for Surrender Cobra. We don't need the Cobra right now, State. It's 3rd and 10, and you got Will Rogers. Sold out here at Tiger Stadium. Rogers. He just had a shuffle it ahead as they were closing in on him, and it's incomplete. That was B.J. Ojulari again. Greg, he has been so active.
And Ojulari is having a night. I mean, he's just coming right around the edge and forces the move there from Will Rogers. Tries to get it to his outlet. Johnson on the shovel. And my goodness, I mean, all night long, B.J. Ojulari has been giving a lot of fits to these tackles, man. This has been one heck of a performance from the edge pressure defender.
Trafford on the punt. Heels are on his own 2-yard line. Clayton is the return man. It's a short punt, but it takes a good roll, and then it goes to field it. That's dangerous. Clayton goes to field it, and Mississippi State players jump all over him. And LSU, a sigh of relief. They've secured the football. That's all they've been wanting to do since they walked away from New Orleans and then lost to Florida State. Just give the offense the ball.
What a huge penalty that was on the kick return.
I know, man.
I mean, just a massive turn. And almost here from LSU, obviously new return man Greg Clayton. I mean,
well, that ball was loose for a moment there.
It was loose. I understand why Mississippi State jumped all over him. I'd do the exact same thing, but why do you care about field position at that point? Like, you give him a couple extra yards, let it roll out. Only bad things can happen when you get close to the ball, man. Run away as far and as fast as you can.
Clayton's a walk-on. Had an 18-yard return last week. He's Jarvis Landry's cousin, by the way. So just over 6 minutes to go. Daniels sets up, goes downfield. Oh, nearly an effort by Jenkins, but good coverage downfield that time as Jackie Matthews was with Jeray Jenkins. Transfer from West Virginia to Starkville, Jackie Matthews.
Yeah, excellent job breaking this one up. It was a pretty well thrown ball, a little bit late, but either way, man, to dislodge that football, I mean, Jenkins had two hands on it. That's one the receivers got to bring down for you in a critical catch situation, but an excellent job there by Matthews breaking it up.
Good play by Matthews. They want depth at that position. He gives it to him his first year at Mississippi State. We'll go with Emery on the ground here. That's a good run fit that time by that front seven.
Most of the night tonight, there has not been much there on the ground in the traditional run look for LSU. Mississippi State's done a great job of bottling it up, but it's third down. Who do you think's going to get the look here? The last three third and fourth down attempts have been Malik Neighbors. He's been in the slot, and he's had really favorable matchups in each of the last few third down situations. If I'm Zach Arnett, there is no way I'm going to allow number 8 to catch the football. Double him, inside out him. I don't care what I have to do. But this guy cannot beat me because he's been the one that has carved him up on third down in the past.
3rd and 7. And then there's Daniels with the legs and the effort to move those chains. He has been running the ball so well tonight. 10 more yards. He has 93 yards rushing, Greg.
And this was very decisive as you see players down there for Mississippi State. Just very, very decisive. You're going to see rushers all the way out, and they kind of lose contain there. As soon as Daniels sees all that green grass, boom, take off north and south and see if you can't go get it yourself. It's a decisive decision there from Jayden Daniels, who's played much better here in the second half of this football game.
As Nathan Pickering, who's down, the defensive tackle. Katie.
You guys, I loved what Mike Denbrock told us. He said, you know, in preseason camp, a quarterback really can't let loose. So all of the players had suspicions of the playmaking abilities that come with Jayden Daniels, but they didn't really know it was there. And then now that we've gone through 3 games, I mean, they believe it. They've seen it time and time again. They really ride for this kid. And, you know, I thought it was interesting. He did not come in an overbearing manner. You know, like he was walking through the door to save the program. He was really diligent about building relationships. He took his wide receivers out to his home in California to build that trust, to get to know those guys better. So he's done it the right way. Building those relationships has helped it translate on the field, guys.
Yeah, had that California summer bonding experience. Of course, he was a huge recruit coming out of Southern California for Herm Edwards when he first went to Arizona State. But to your point, the big moments, can he make the big plays? Can he get it done? The 99-yard drive against Florida State, the whole fourth quarter you're seeing here with the 2 touchdown drives and the touchdown run. Yeah,
you're seeing the development, and you're seeing the decision-making and situational awareness. Now, there's still going to be room to grow. I mean, it's to be expected. He's still learning this offense, still getting comfortable in this offense, but you can see the natural playmaking ability. It's in there. Now, if they can just refine his mechanics just a little bit to become just the tiniest bit more consistent as a downfield thrower, he can become deadly and will be very difficult to defend in the SEC.
And 16 carries for 93 yards, and of course the touchdown, the go-ahead touchdown. Under 5 minutes to play. Goodwin, good run. Look at this. Armani Goodwin. A 47-yard capper. The air feels a little different in Baton Rouge right now, doesn't it? This fourth quarter's been a whole lot different. This is what Brian Kelly wanted. The kind of finish that the Tigers need. Good win, good tie.
On the downhill.
See you at home.
Enjoy it with the advanced safety features of a Lexus ES.
Matt Berry in our college football studio. Texas having a problem with UTSA. Roadrunner just got a surprise onside kick. Then Brendan Brady to Zachary Franklin. Double pass. Texas just scored, however, to close the gap, 17-14. Also, want to remind you, Texas A&M and Miami, Aggies strike first 3-0. We will move that from ESPN News right here to ESPN when LSU, Mississippi State goes final.
Going to be a fun night still to come, isn't it, Matt? Right here at Tiger Stadium, 21 unanswered points all in the fourth quarter for the home team. College football rankings. Brought to you by Allstate.
As you can see right now, Clemson cruising. Oklahoma State, no problem whatsoever. But how about this? Bobby Petrino's return to Fayetteville. Just tied it up. Missouri State gets out to a 17-0 lead. Of course, Bobby Petrino, formerly the head coach of the Hogs. And Sam Pittman and his team playing extremely well so far this year, but looking like a bit of a slow start tonight against number 5 team in the FCS.
All of a sudden, Mississippi State down by 15 as they go to Griffin. And you see that quick burst by Griffin. We saw that on what would have been a massive kickoff return just a few minutes ago. That was taken back by a penalty.
Still can get going here. Obviously, Mississippi State, only one timeout remaining, which is unfortunate for them. But either way, they have an offense that's built to succeed with tempo.
A drop 8 as he has to check down to Johnson. And Johnson was taken down that time by Bernard Converse.
Not yet at a point where you need to be thinking about hyperspeed. The first touchdown's obviously the most important. The ball's got to come out of Will Rogers' hands quickly, because right now these pass rushers for LSU, they're pinning the ears back and they are having their way with the tackle.
They're caving in on him again, and he gets it to Johnson. Johnson makes a cutback for the first down. It was a good effort that time to get it down to the 33-yard line, but Rogers took a little something to get that first down, and you see him feeling the pain.
Oh, he just got absolutely pummeled. Looked like Ojulari hit him high when someone hit him a little low, and he has gotten crushed on back-to-back plays.
He's a tough kid, isn't he? Inside screen, and able to hold on to it is Ducking.
Will Rogers is tough as nails, man. Not the biggest guy in the world. Man, he hangs in there. We've seen him get hit time and time again, and these tackles have struggled, man. Really struggled against the speed that LSU has in the field right now.
How about last year against Will Anderson at Alabama? Punishment that he held up to. That is intercepted. And that's Jay Ward, who has had himself a night with the interception. And he reaches for his knee at the end of the play, but he comes up big to try to slam the door on Mississippi State. He's making his way off the field. A little bit of pain, but he's going to love that play. He has 11 tackles tonight as well.
And you're going to see one receiver cross face this way, one cross this way. It's called a scissors concept. And this time, Will Rogers just does not throw it in the right direction. You see him throw it way in behind the intended wide receiver, Jameer Calvin. Calvin can't get a hand on it. And obviously, sitting right there waiting to make the play was Ward. Just an inaccurate throw. It's rare when you see it from Will Rogers, but that one just off the mark, probably missed it by 4 or 5 yards.
And here's Goodwin again. He goes for 9 more yards after he had the big 47-yard touchdown on that last possession.
Really, it's been most impressive probably here these last couple possessions. I know they had one big play, but I'm really impressed with how LSU's offensive line is now starting to reestablish the line of scrimmage. I mean, remember, this is an offensive line that is starting 2 true freshmen. One at left tackle in Will Campbell, one at right tackle in Emory Jones. Both guys are going to play a long time, no denying that. And man, this is a defensive front that was just wearing them out early, but now you see that commitment to the run game really starting to pay off.
I'm going to move the chains, keep bringing down that clock with Goodwin.
You got to feel for Will Rogers, man. I mean, it's the year they've had circled, the year that they thought they could really break through in a difficult road trip and a couple of big mistakes. It appears as though they're going to come up on the losing end. Just critical mistakes on the road kill you. That's exactly what happened to Mississippi State tonight, but you have to also give credit to LSU, who took advantage of those mistakes.
See Jayden Daniels look over at Brian Kelly, who keeps his hand in the air saying, manage the clock. We're going to use clock. I'll tell you when to go. Emory going to get it to the 40-yard line. SEC game number 1 for Brian Kelly. He put that hand up in the air and said, we're going to look up at that clock. We're going to bring this thing in for a soft landing.
How about the performance in the second half, too? I mean, just stifling on defense, holding Mississippi State to just 3 points offensively. So Matt House and the adjustments that group made, off the charts good, and really the most credit needs to go to those pass rushers who just made Will Rogers' life really difficult in the second half.
Greg, you go back to that opening weekend when the whole country was watching against Florida State and all the special teams miscues. And Brian Polian, their coordinator, said, hey, we're going to attack problems, not people. They had problems. They had people who stepped up tonight. The big tackle by Emory Jones. The quality work with the protection for field goal and PAT. The recovery of a muff punt. Oh, the sweet irony. And then Neighbors, who had muffed the punts in New Orleans, coming up absolutely huge on critical third downs. Everything came full circle for LSU.
No doubt. It was everyone they needed to step up did. B.J. Ojulari was completely unblockable. Malik Neighbors, they're trying to double Kayshon Boutte the whole night. Malik Neighbors had to step up in one-on-one coverage. Jayden Daniels delivered the ball so accurately in the second half. He deserves a ton of credit for the way he played tonight.
And so the coach who started his career at Division II Assumption in Worcester, Massachusetts, and was helping out coach softball, here in the great later act of his career, wins his first SEC football game deep in Baton Rouge. And that's got to feel good for Brian Kelly. First time Kelly and Leach have ever met up. And Coach Kelly has an SEC victory. He's with Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Coach Kelly, you were down by 13. Second half was incredible. You scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. What did you think of just the overall process and resiliency of the team?
Well, we're fighters. We showed that in week 1. We just didn't execute, at the end. But, that's what we know about this team. They'll fight. We executed so much better in the second half. Our defense played great. This is a really difficult team to defend. They played very well. I thought their defense is very difficult. But we got into a rhythm, and I think, quite frankly, up front, our guys did a great job in the second half. We were able to run the football. We had the big runs, and we could control the line of scrimmage late. And, in the SEC, you got to run the football. We were able to run the football late, and that was the difference.
What does it mean to get your first SEC win?
Yeah, it's really nice. Anytime you can win a game in the SEC, it's an accomplishment, especially against a really quality team, and that's a veteran team. We started 2 freshmen on the offensive line, and they managed to hang in there, and we'll just keep building it, take it one time, and we'll enjoy this one and get ready for next week.
Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
They had 24 points in the second half, couple forced turnovers, and they earned it in the fourth quarter. We got A&M and Miami coming up, but right now it's Matt Berry in the College Football Scoreboard Studio. Take it away, gentlemen.
Joe Tessitore, fine game. Thank you. Fine night of college football.
Welcomes you to the following presentation of the Southeast